All right. So, what's up, summoners? King Blair here. It has been some time since I last talked to you guys, since I was not able to stream this past Thursday or this past Sunday. So, what we're going to be doing today will be looking at all the stuff I have missed, and there has been so many updates that have happened recently. We know the new hero that's coming out tomorrow, who is going to be Senya. We also know the heroes that are getting buffs, including Maid Chloe, as well as Cow Sect Axe, as well as things like Carrot. So kind of going over those buffs and things like that. We also have new continent, new content, and of course we also, there's some people thinking that they know what the collab is. We'll discuss those rumors and whether or not they are true or not. I do not think they are true. I would hope that they're not true, but we'll still talk about them since, you know, that's the next thing that's coming, right? So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of really new, cool stuff that's been going on. And as you guys know, I also released the RTA tier list. So at any point, if you've watched the tier list video and you disagree with something, be sure to let me know. I'll also talk about any of the units I missed. I know I've mentioned in the comment, but I realized that that list I've been using is super outdated. So hopefully we get a lot of time. And hey, what's up, Tyler? What's up, Dan? What's up, Nunex? But yeah, we're gonna be just talking about all that good stuff, and there's going to be a lot because I will be putting farming on the background while I move stuff, since it is the hunt event, and I do need to get some because I was not able to play this whole weekend. I will be tapping into my energy resources. But hey, what's up, Ufer? So we'll get into talking about the updates. I'm really excited about some of the buffs. I think they'll be really impactful, and it kind of sucks that I had already scheduled to put the tier list video out before they announced the updates, so I was not able to give you guys my expected updates. Hey, what's up, Raya? Hey, what's up, Yermi? But let's get right into it. You know, it's nice and easy. Let me know if you can hear the music or if there's like anything weird with the audio, and I can change it on my end, since there's always seems to be problems with the audio quality or something. I don't know why. But okay. First, yeah, back to farming. All right, let's start with balance and judgments. We're starting straight. We're starting straight to the moment. Oh yeah, let me get the face cam so y'all can see me. I always forget that too. Thanks for reminding me. There we go. All right, so starting with the updates, right? We recently got the new set of patch notes of heroes that are going to be getting buffed in the near future, and some of these are actually really impactful. Right, some of these I was reading and I was like, wait, this looks really good, right? So, do I think it is going to turn the meta on its head? No, I still think that the tier list that I put out on Sunday, I would not have put it out if I didn't think that for the most part things would stay the same besides those certain units. I don't think that there is going to be like a huge meta shift. I think it's just going to add to the current meta and just add more interactions and more things to consider. I think RTA right now feels stale. Maybe it's just because I'm biased and because I just had to climb all the way RGB and I was always using the same heroes. I haven't played since I re-geared my account. But I don't think any of these are going to be like meta changing, that we're going to have to move to a different meta. Besides ER units just getting better and better, right? We're going to start seeing, my prediction is that control units will have to go back to an effectiveness build. So let's talk about it. Yeah, Axe God is definitely in here. So let's talk about it. Let's go one by one. First, Maid Chloe. This is arguably probably one of the bigger ones, right? They did a really good job on the Chloe buff, on the Maid Chloe buff. I think this actually makes her meta relevant. A lot of people have been saying she's not good enough yet, that this doesn't change anything, that she still sucks, right? And I'm like, whoa, hold up. Let's think about this, right? Because when I read this, I was like, hold up. So first, as always, they gave her the Robbie treatment with the S1. This literally was the Robbie treatment. They did this just to add some random RNG to her skill 1 and make her work and be annoying, right? Because you guys know Robbie stuns on the S1 now, which is super annoying, and it was more significant. Well, they added more chance to stun to make it more annoying, and then they added an extra effect that when the target is stunned after attacking, right? So it's after attacking, which means if you stun with the S1, you will still get this effect. Increase the comm arenas of all allies except for the caster by 15%. That's just really annoying. I mean, is it something that you're going to be getting very often? Not really. Like, there's a lot of immunity units, and you're not building Maid Chloe with effectiveness. But it's still like, it's like RNG, right? You know, as you get frenzy, as the fight goes on longer, and yeah, she'll definitely be an amazing last pick. She's going to be something that's really annoying, right? She does that S1, she stuns, you get TR push. It's just annoying. It's RNG. It's the Ravi treatment. I'm not a fan of buffs like this, where they literally just add RNG to a unit. But units that have a lot of RNG in their kit tend to do really well. Right, that's something that just because it's harder to predict certain things from happening, and you can't really fully guard against it because it's just like you don't want to have to guard against this. But that's not even the biggest part of her buff. Then her passive also got a buff, and it's like significantly better now. So it increases the FRS of all eyes by 20%. This is huge. A lot of people aren't talking about how this is really big. Some people are like, oh, come on, King, that's not that much. It's just 20%, right? Nothing crazy. Well, this already makes it so in the grand scheme of things, if you have a no ER unit, you have an extra 5% chance to receive any debuff. So if someone's not building effectiveness, they now have a 5% less chance to land their debuffs, which is pretty good. This effect does stack with Shimada Staff. It should. I don't know. I would have to read the wording. That's the one that I wanted to check. Let me quit farming for a second and let me read the wording on Shimada Staff. It should. It should stack with Shimada Staff, but I haven't read the wording of Shimada Staff. I think that the extra FRS does not include passives, right? So that's a quick check, and you can just check with the wording. So Shimada Staff increases all as at 20%, and effect of healing increase. Effects does not stack with other artifacts of the same name. So it is not restricted for that. When more than one increased healing effect is granted, only a stronger effect is applied. So no, yeah, it does stack. Shimada Staff does stack. So that's the other one. So if y'all don't know, Shimada Staff gives increased FRS to your whole team, as well as increasing your healing by 20%. And then, hey, what's up, Dashi? So yeah, it does stack. So let me go back to farming. Yeah, it does stack. So Maid Chloe can actually stack with Shimada Staff, which means that theoretically, you could bring a Maid Chloe and a Shimada Staff, and you could have 40% CR, right? For free. That's like 5 stat rolls for your whole team that you're getting at no cost, right? But just bringing a Maid Chloe. That's really crazy. And the other thing is that Maid Chloe's imprint, like the imprint release that she gives to other allies, is also FRS, and it goes up to 16%. So theoretically, you could have a 56% AoE team-wide FRS buff with Maid Chloe if you give her Shimada Staff and you have the fully imprinted. That's pretty crazy, right? 56 ER for doing absolutely nothing. All you're doing is bringing her. Right, so that again is a pretty big hit to control units. The other thing that this actually does do a lot is things like a Tywin, things like General Purgus, right? These units no longer use effectiveness. No one's really bringing effectiveness a Tywins. No one really puts effectiveness on the General Purguses. No one's doing that, right? No one brings all that stuff. So already just having Shimada Staff in this, that's 40%. You're giving yourself higher odds at resisting stuns, which does come a long way. Or think of T-Surin, right? That's more chance to dodge than able to be buffed. Or if you have a high ER unit, like if you're fighting F10A, you could bring her a high ER unit, and now that high ER unit has like 300 plus FRS, and they're not going to be hit by pretty much anything in this game, right? So it's something that is like situational. Like, is this going to be good at every single case? No, not necessarily, but 20% is pretty nice. It kind of goes away after a certain point in Frenzy. It doesn't matter anymore. But the fact that you get stats for free is very nice. And that's just the S2, right? The other thing is that at the start of the turn, she heals 2 allies instead of just 1. And yes, Kisame, you should take her out. She looks very good for last one. She not only got increased healing on the passive, but it also heals 2 other allies. And if you give her Shimada Staff, this is going to be healing like 4k every turn. Every like 3 to 4k every time she takes a turn. That's really annoying, right? 3 to 4k, that's nothing to laugh at, right? That's like right now, this skill heals like what? 2, 3k for a good Maid Chloe. This can heal up to like 4k now, I'm pretty sure. So that's a lot of healing that you're doing for 2 units as well. Because you're increased healing and with Shimada Staff, you get that extra healing. That's a lot of healing. That's pretty annoying. That kind of kills most Bruiser teams that don't have sustain, because you will just easily be able to out-sustain them. So that's the S2. Also pretty insane. Really, really good support. And then you have the S3, which I actually think is the biggest buff. They did not need to give her any of these. The only buff that she needed was this one. So why is this buff significant? Dispels 2 debuffs. Basar, a Tywin, Briarwitch Iceria, even things like F10. All these units usually give 2 debuffs, right? And the unable to be buffed is one of the things that really messes up Maid Chloe, right? So now the fact that you can dispel that unable to be buffed from before you even use your Maid Chloe S3, that literally means that you can't really unable to be buffed, right? If you use Bazaar S3, you push her back, that doesn't counter her anymore. She can just use this skill, boom, it's gone, she gets the buffs, right? And then same thing with Briar Witch Iceria. You use Briar Witch Iceria, boom, she just cleanses everything, you're back to square one, but your team has attack buff and the revive buff, right? So really huge. This is humongous. This is really, really good. So essentially, they fixed everything that Maid needed. She no longer hard loses to unable to be buffed. That used to be her biggest problem. Yeah, I would think speed and ER, I would say building her to go before your team, but slow enough that certain units go before her. So Briar Witch and Bazaar are guaranteed to go before her. You don't want her to be super fast, right? You don't want her to be at 250 and she outspeed an enemy's Bazaar or an enemy's Briar Witch, right? You want her on like 210, 220. I don't think she needs to be faster than that. She could even be slower. The reason I say before is because I imagine she'll function like a General Purgus, right? She's there to cleanse your team, give you advantage back from the Briar Witch, give you advantage back from the from everything else, and then you get that attack buff and you can follow up with the rest of your team. So if you go against that Bazaar, well, Bazaar still kind of counters her, but not really. What you can do is they lose that turn 1, and with that attack buff, you should be able to win. It's 2 dispel before the revive buff. Yes, it's 2 dispels 2 buff from all living allies, and then gives everything else. Right? So it's dispel, revive, attack buff. Right? So from that S3, you should be winning. So she's kind of like say DJ Bazaar to an extent. Right, where she's there to go right after your enemy goes, and then you just set up and win the game, right? So it's a turn 2 unit. She's not trying to take turn 1 away from your opponent, right? That's not what she's there for. So overall, what are my thoughts on her? I think she's gonna be probably one of the scariest last pick units that you can have. She still loses certain matchups, like she still loses to strippers to an extent, but they have to hold. She still hard loses to Landy. Like this just still loses to Landy, right? Just because Landy just gets to get free S3s for a really long time, and then you just get to win for free off of your Landy. But aside from that, this makes it so strippers don't do their job as well. Like think Alencia, right? Alencia's a slow stripper, right? Alencia's usually someone you could take into Maid Chloe. Well, what you have to worry about now is your Alencia too fast. Because if you outspeed the Maid Chloe, your strip does nothing. If you're slow but don't have enough effectiveness, then you can't strip because she gets a free 40% ER with Tremata Staff, right? So that is pretty cool. I think you can build her slow and counter her. I still think she gets the most mileage going before your team. So I think she gets the most mileage going right before your team, so you can make the most use of your attack buff. And in case they do bring up a Bazaar and hold on to that S3, you still have a chance to do things. She with the S3. Does she heal with her S3 if allies are alive? She does not heal with the S3, but her passive heals. Level 6 face shrine. Basically, when she takes a turn, she'll heal. And she heals 2 allies now, and this healing is pretty big. It's like probably going to be 4k. Right? That's crazy. Can you build her slow counter? Yes. I have not gotten to Axe God review CCB. I will be there in a second. But you do want her to be decently fast. I think 220 is where you want her to be. This is just super annoying though, which is why I could see why you would want counter set on her, but you should not be relying on this. Right? This is not the reason you should be building on counter. She already has really good starting FRS for free with this and Tremata Staff. You get 40% for free. Control's rough, man. As a control player, this hurts a lot. A Tywin, dude, what's A Tywin doing nowadays? A Tywin doesn't do anything now. What the hell is A Tywin? Yeah, okay, he gets damage on the S3 and steals souls, but like she can go before the rest of the team and then completely take away what A Tywin does with his S3. And then you just win off of the attack buff. So pretty big. I think this is really scary. She'll definitely be meta relevant. A lot of people have started playing with supports, and we're still in a very heavy protect your DPS type meta, right? Like you're seeing units like Ravi, Landy, and Stene being like the premier damage dealers. Right? And yes, she gets another like 17% with concentration. Yeah, she has efforts for like crazy. Right? So I really do think she'll fit right into the meta with supporting units like that. Kind of like a more aggressive option, especially if they take away your General Purgus, right? Because without General Purgus, your Stene and your SSB or your Landy or your Rawi lose attack buff. Well, now you can bring Maid Chloe, give them that little bit of extra pressure for the opponent to try to have to strip, because if they kill they'll just get revived. And it's pretty significant for things like Landy, where they can revive, proc S3, and then go back into Guiding Light, right? So pretty big, right? Pretty big buff. I think it's gonna fit. She's gonna fit right in the meta. I really do think she's gonna fit perfectly in the meta. It's like perfect meta for the buff that they gave her. She's gonna be a really good unit. How strong will she be? I don't know, because Secret Set is still so popular and General Purgus is still so popular. And her and General Purgus kind of have the same roles. I feel like having her and General Purgus is a little bit overkill, right? But if you don't have access to G perk, picking her would be really good. Now on to Cecilia. This one, it's nice, but it doesn't fix the inherent problems than Cecilia. They just die after they get revived. Yes and no. It depends when you do the S3 and when they kill you, right? Think of Ravi, right? If they kill your Ravi and she revives with 30%, usually it takes a full rotation to kill a Ravi, right? So if they use all their things to kill your Ravi, but she has this revive buff, Ravi comes back and then just heals off all the damage, right? So it puts a lot of pressure. It's not a crazy heal. She's not there for the heal. She's there for the attack buff, she's there for the dispel, and she's there for the ER increase. That's the 3 reasons you're really using her. The revive is just icing on the cake. Right, so that's why you're doing it. Lemuel Flores, I will get to Senya in a second. I'm gonna go through the buffs first, and then I'll talk about Senya. I really do think she's really good. The revive is just icing on the cake, right? That's just a little bit extra pressure that your opponent has to deal with, and can stop things like Crowl, Sage Ball, and just disrupt a lot of situations. But okay, now Cecilia, honestly, she's still kind of mad. They don't really fix the inherent problem that she has. This is cool. The S2 being able to, when the target is decreased by decreased attack, it has an extra chance to decrease defense, and she does have decreased attack on the S2. That goes up I think it goes up to like 75%. But I mean, this is just like, okay, that's not really gonna come up in a lot of situations. There's not that many units that attack break besides things like Briarwitch Iceria that are consistent. The S2 is really cool that they made this to the S2, that it's dispels 1 debuff now. Before it actually does it, you don't need the EE. The EE, I believe, decreases speed. Yeah, so this is pretty cool, right? So she's kind of a control unit now that can strip and apply attack break and decrease down. That's really cool. That part's really cool. This is actually really cool buff for her. And then the S3 is the same, right? So this is like, I mean, it's nice. They're making it more of a control unit. So it's still something that, like, she's not a bad unit. Cecilia has never been a bad unit. The problem with Cecilia is that she's taking the slot of another knight or another support. That is really the only problem with Cecilia. Is not that she is bad herself, it's that there's other knights that you're taking the slot of. If you're picking her, you're probably not picking T. Crosette. If you're picking her, you're probably not being able to pick General Purgus. If you're picking her, you're not probably picking a Tywin or a lot of these other knights that you could go. You're not picking Ross, you're not picking Packing Clary. It's not that she is inherently bad, is that you are competing with a lot of other really good support and knights for that position, right? So it's still really good. The S3 having the immunity is really good into a Tywin if you're still struggling with a Tywin. The S2 being able to dispel now and give those debuffs is really nice into Landy, right? If you're able to do the S2, you can hit Landy pretty easily. But the other thing you have to remember is right now control is not in a good position. So even though this is really cool, unless you're building her with effectiveness, which some people do, right? And she has a pretty good effectiveness start. She's not going to be landing a lot of stuff. I mean, she's just kind of like a debuff knight. Not bad, but it's not the greatest. Do I think Spez is worth buying in the whale shop? No. His Majesty, I can tell you that right now. I don't think that Specimen Spez is worth buying in the whale shop. I can tell you that right now. It's better to save. There's better ML heroes that are more impactful in the game. Spez is really fun. I have Spez. I use him every once in a while. But it does not, I would not use whale cuts on him. There's other units. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's cool. She's still like okay unit. She still does her job. But I still feel like she doesn't have an identity besides I put immunity up. Right? That's all she really does, is that's her identity. I put immunity up. I'm a knight that puts up immunity. And that's usually not enough to guarantee her a slot in a draft, right? Besides like some certain situations, like I mentioned, a Tywin. Flan. Now Flan looks lit for a lot of situations, but I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I don't think Cleve is going to be using it in RTA. Briarwitch could be worth it for the shop. I would say that. She's someone that you would have to consider. I would consider Briarwitch, but she's not bad, but you have to remember Elclaw and other stuff. But alright, let me get to Flan. Flan buffs. They finally gave Flynn what she needed, and it's still not enough to make her viable for RTA. Before you get angry, before you click out of the video, before you get salty, let me tell you why, even though they gave her this amazing buff that it should have been there since she came out, why it's just not enough in a lot of the situations, right? In RTA, right? In Arena, it can still potentially work, but even in Arena, it's a little bit hard. Why? Why do I say that? So let's talk about it. So first, let's talk about the bus. So they took off the Soulburn here, which like this made no sense why it was ever here, and they gave the Soulburn that she always needed. Grants an extra turn. That's really dope. That's what she always needed because now she can do the S2 and the S3. That's all she ever wanted. The S2 now is pretty spicy. Attack buff and critical hit damage buff is crazy good. This could be really good in PvE. I wonder if people will use this in Blue Expedition. I do wonder that. It's only 40% CR push, so it's not like 100%, but I do wonder if people will slot this somewhere for PvE, right? Because attack buff as well as critical hit damage buff is pretty big, right? That's a lot of damage that you're giving for one skill and also giving a CR push. That's pretty big. That's really good. I like it. It's pretty spicy, right? And they gave her extra souls here to gain. And then the S3 also has a little bit of spice here that it does decreasing combat radiance by 15%. This allows you to cut, which can be pretty significant. So overall, she finally got what she needed, right? She's basically at this point, for almost all intents and purposes, better than Tywin, right? Tywin decreases defense, she decreases defense. Tywin increases attack, she increases crit damage and attack, right? So she has everything she's ever wanted. This is the strongest she can ever be. But it's still not enough. Why? Yes, His Majesty Bane, you kind of pointed it out right there. So the biggest problem with Flann now in day-to-day, this would have been like insane in the past. If she was released like this, she would have been broken. And yeah, she could be pretty good for PvE. The reason why she won't work in RTA is because Polides and Selene exist. The other thing is, why use her when you can use someone like Elfelt, who also strips? They're basically competing for the same role. Even Elfelt, who is extremely powerful, doesn't even see that much RTA play. Why? Because immunity is so hard for these type of units, right? And Elfelt just gives you full team attack buff. The reason that immunity exists makes it a lot harder for units like this to be able to set up. Most teams run turn 1 immunity or are taking turn 1 away from you. The other thing is she also still loses to Polides. Pretty hard to lose to Polides, and still loses to Selene. Right, so she still has those cleave counters. The same thing with the other ones. The only thing is, if you are bringing someone like Basar and someone like her, that's a lot of units that are not really doing damage. So that's the biggest problem with Cleave, is right now Cleave is in a really weird position where all their slots are like optimized. They have 2 CR pushers / strippers, they have 2 DPSs, and they have 1 hybrid that does both, right? And that's like super set. Almost all cleaves run that way, right? Like the minimum is like Sidam, Tamano Luluka, and some other things. The DPSs are all pretty set, and then the setup is almost always like Basar, Cerise, or Athletica or Oxlots, right? Like they're already so tight in terms of like slotting for a cleave that Flann will not be able to make an impact. Is she really cool? Absolutely. Can she pop off? For sure. It's still really hard to set up though. And that's usually the problem for RTA. Hey, what's up, Colin? Yeah, I didn't get to talk about it till now, which is super amazing that I get to talk about it now. But yeah, Flann, I think this is really awesome. I think it was a great buff. I think she needed it. But if you make a Polides cleave, then yes, you can actually slot her in. So I'm not going to discourage you guys from trying her out in RTA. She can actually work really well in RTA. The thing about it is you need a stripper to go with her, and you also need to make sure they don't have access to Polides and Selene, and that almost will never happen, right? That is a very rare situation you'll be able to bring her in. In Arena, Polides is everywhere. Oxlot's cleave in Arena for high Arena is pretty much dead at this point. I don't think there's almost anyone in that really does Oxlot's cleaves that much in high Arena. Right? The higher you go up, everyone has Polides. She kind of stopped that from people. But if they don't have Polides and you can set up a Basar, then she does really, really great. Then she's amazing for her job. Right? So, pretty spicy for Arena if they don't have Polides. Can be hard to use in RTA. And I think with this S2 buff, she'll be really good for things like Dark Expedition, right? Because this is really significant buffs. And then this is a really nice debuff too. So, these 3 are really good for Dark Expedition. I think it's actually really good for Dark Expedition. and for other PvE that I may not be able to think of right now. But for PvP, I just don't think it's enough to make her really big, right? So again, is she considerably better? 100%. She is so much better than she was before. Is she better than Tywin? Absolutely. The only thing Tywin has over Flan is PvE. Since Tywin is a knight, he can actually work for Fire Expedition. Since Tywin is a knight, he can also tank Wyvern. So there are some situations Tywin is still better. But at this point, I mean, no one really builds Tywin, and just because Polides is a better Tywin doesn't mean people will think, or Flan, not Polides. I keep saying Polides. When I say Polides, when I'm talking about Flan, I mean Flan. But Flan, I mean, it's cool. I like it. I like it. Nothing crazy. I don't think it'll be, like, meta changing. I don't think you'll see her anymore in RTA that you used to before. But I think it'll be really cool to see people play around with her more. Tywin's harder to kill too, yeah, that is true. So Tywin still has his uses, right? Don't think Tywin is bad just because Flan does the same thing but better. Not quite, because Tywin has the Knight class, he does some certain things that are better. So overall, I mean, Tywin and Flan, it's not their meta. Cleave is, like, at this point, it's just Arena and RTA right now, it's all Bruisers, right? It's all Bruisers. If you're not playing Bruiser, it is really hard to use these two. It is not a Cleave meta, and Cleave is already super optimized, and they never slot in Tywin, and they're not gonna slot in Polides, right? So it's pretty sad that that's how we are right now, that Bruisers are just that strong. There's not really a really strong Bruiser team out there right now that can not Bruiser, Cleave team that can slot Polides or Flan. Think about it. Elthel doesn't see how much play, and she's just better than Flan. But alright, let's keep going, right? I don't want to talk about how dead Cleave is. It's not 100% dead. Cleave is really optimized. And like Cerise Cleaves are still really strong, but they cannot slot in Flan. And then control teams with CC, the reason you're not going to see her more, she takes up slots of other knights. And right now, Control is not in a good spot. Control is getting destroyed right now. But let's keep going, because there's other units that we need to talk about that are going to be meta relevant. So Mercedes, I actually think she's super viable now. Not going to lie to you guys, I read this and I was like, wait. She looks amazing for PvE, and she's a free unit. I actually would recommend early game players to actually build her now, because she's really good, dude. She is really good for PvE. So first, the S1 does more damage. You always like to see a little bit of damage buff, and this does attack 2 heroes. This is really good for Fire Expedition. This is really good for Dark Expedition. This is really good for PvP stages. We can give her Lela Violin. Like, pretty nice for PvE, right? Really, really nice, right? Then you have the S2, which again is just amazing for a lot of situations. The S2 activates it again when you get 3 or fewer enemies. That's really cool. And when activated this way, damage to do decreased damage. This is basically a, what's her face? Vivian S2, right? This is literally a Vivian S2. This is really cool, because in Dark Expedition, you always have those ads. She can now do S2, kill the ads, and then do another S2 into the boss. That's really cool. That is really cool. I think that is really amazing. And then, of course, the S3, she gets attack buff after attacking, which does suck that she gets attack buff after. But, I mean, it's pretty good because this does extra damage. I think she's going to be really amazing. Hey, what's up, Moises? She's going to be really great for Green Expo, for farming, and for A13. A13 is one of the hardest things for early game players to get into. It's the hardest hunt to actually do. I think A13, aside from Katie's, but no one really cares about Katie's. Like, the only hunt, A13 is the hardest for early game players to get into, which is really hard. Earth Expedition as well, BJ man, she's amazing for Earth Expedition. And a really good farmer, right? So she's a really good PvE unit, especially for early game players that are just starting Epic 7. It will give them kind of a curve to be able to get into A13 and to help them with Earth Expedition, right? And for farming. I think it's great. I think this is amazing. Amazing Mercedes buff, because she always was fun, right? As an early game player, and you get her for free. So them giving you more options to get into A13 is great. I love that. I love that. Reducing that barrier to the harder hunts is amazing. I cannot complain about this. This is great. I love it. Is it going to be PvP? No, but not all units need to be PvP, and I think a free unit being really good at PvE is amazing. So I'm really happy with it. I think she'll be a staple for early game players for getting into A13. That's what I think. Then we got Hazel, which she really does. Again, the problem with Hazel and all these other units is they're locked into a full RGB team, particularly Fire, which means you can only use them in things like Golem and for mono red teams for some other Abyss, potentially Abyss stages, right? And for Earth Expedition, Hazel's actually really, really good, right? But I mean, this is just like heals a target pushes the caster's attack and target's max health. And now you also increase by 15%. And you can increase, like, this heals more. This is good for Earth Expedition, right? This is really good for Earth Expedition. This is really good for Earth Expedition, right? So they just buffed their Earth Expedition, right? I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. This is literally just for Earth Expedition. That's literally all they're doing. She's just, she's amazing for Earth Expo, right? So if you have some labby, like some raid teams that you can use all fire, she'll be really cool for that. If it's Earth Expedition, she's really good for that. But being locked into fire is really, really hard. And yeah, the Camarena is not that big of a deal because she gets the cleansing. The cleansing was actually what she needed, right? The fact that she dispels debuffs now is really, really nice for Earth Expedition. So she's kind of like a staple if you really want to do high Earth damage. I actually think out of all the expeditions, Earth Expedition is one that you can actually solo Earth Expedition 3. Because the fire heroes are so good, you can actually solo by yourself. You can do your own Earth Expeditions. If you have what's that girl's name? Fire girl, that's Kana. If you have Kana built, if you have Ball built, if you have a Charlotte, Ross, whatever frontline, even Lilia's works built, and you have Hazel, oh, you are tearing through that Earth Expedition. You're probably getting like 100, right? Easy, because you get greater attack if it's fire. Easy. Golem as well, right? If you have her, Golem and Earth Expedition are easy, right? But who cares about those two, right? So that card kind of sucks. Which is the part that's kind of rough. But again, she's still one of the best supports for Earth Expedition if you really are still struggling with that. Or for Golem, she's a pretty good support there as well. Carrot. I've been people telling me that Carrot looks really good. So I haven't read this one because I didn't really think that she'd be that amazing. And no one really told me that much. And I wasn't too interested. But people have been telling me it is really good. Right? So let's see it. Let me see why people are really excited about her. For her S1. So attacks with the staff. 50% chance to decrease speed for 2 turns. Before detonating burn effects inflicted on the enemy at the end of the turn. That's cool. So this could go with ML Aura. Wait, that's kind of cool. She detonates fire now? That's cool. Okay. The burn effect. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, Flame Barrier. This skill always catches me off guard. At the moment caster's attack, grant the caster a barrier for 1 turn and burns the attacker for 1 turn. This is super annoying. Could this not be once per turn? Did this just not be once per turn? I mean, the barrier is super annoying, right? Because if it's a really big barrier and it's in proportion to the caster's attack, so she usually builds pretty high attack. And having played with Senya recently with the barrier is really good. Like, this barrier is really good. I'm not gonna lie, this is really good. I'm gonna go to the SC carrot. You're right. Let me go to the SC carrot because no one uses the other one. I mean, once per turn, this is super annoying. Because she has like an inflated health bar. If she's tanky enough to survive DPSs, this could be really annoying. This is really annoying. Because every time you hit her, you get burnt. And she's detonating the burns and she has high attack. That could be a really thick barrier. And you only get like those turns that she drops the barrier to actually hit her. Right, like you have to kill with your DPS when her barrier is down before she gets the next one. That could be really annoying. That is really annoying. Flame Sprout. Let me see this other one. Awaken. Attacks all enemies with power follow. Displaying 1 buff with a 70% each to inflict 2 burn effects. Damage still increases. Grants an extra turn. So you can dispel 1 buff, burn 2 times, and then proc the burns. That's a lot of damage. Wait, that's a lot of damage you can do from 1 turn. And she gets increased attack? Dude, these burns are going to be doing so much damage. And she gets continuous healing? Wait. This looks really good. I think I said it was 100% safe. What? Wait, okay. I'm sorry. I'm like super shocked. I'm like reading this. And I'm like, wait. So this means that it goes to 100% then. Because this increases flame burst burn chance by 25%. So she has a 100% chance to AoE burn for 2 turns and to strip. She can detonate the burns. She gets more attack now. She gets continuous healing. She gets a massive barrier every turn if you don't kill her. And she gets the healing to keep going. And she dispels 1 debuff every turn? That's crazy. And she has an effect that decreases attack? Yo, so you can't one-shot her. Wait, she looks kind of nuts. Wait, I really was sleeping on this buff. Wait, this is really cool. I'm actually going to build my carrot now. This is really cool. This is really cool. Hey, congrats, Verum, on the new Chloe after the buffs. She can't really be stunned. Wow, wait, this is really cool. Okay, I think I might build her. Since she's a 3-star, right? So it doesn't take any investment. It's just all stigma. I think I'm going to start working on my carrot. I'm working on Doris and Axe God right now, so I can't actually do anything for her. But man, no one's been talking about carrot. This is pretty cool. I mean, do I think this is going to be like meta changing? Probably not. But if you dispel a Landy's like barrier, or if you dispel a Landy's certain things, if you soul burn it, she's a mage, right? So she can carry book. Carrot is a mage that can carry book. You can soul burn the S3, reveal a Landy, burn the Landy, dispel the immunity, and have the burn just kill. That's cool. And then you get a unit that's like kind of a bruiser that does damage. That's really cool. That's really cool. And she's all attack, right? Because the burn does more damage. So it's literally just all, she doesn't need crit damage. It's all attack and all tank, right? That's really annoying. And she heals now. So she has sustain for free. That's really cool. I'm excited. This is cool. I like her. I don't know if she's going to be like insanely powerful or anything, but I think she's a good spice option, right? And you can definitely get games off of people with this, right? Because a lot of people will not expect a carrot to melt one of their units. And people are not going to expect carrot to be like dummy tanky. So, yeah, Senya does come out tomorrow. I'll talk about her in a second. But that's cool. That's really cool. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But alright, now the last one. Church of Ilroy's Axe. I think Smilegate, this is probably one of my favorite patches. Because they buffed units that didn't see play, and they buffed them to a level that is going to make them see play for sure. But alright, Church of Ilroy's Axe. And yeah, it should be tomorrow for Senya, Colin. Senya should come out tomorrow. Pretty sure. Pretty sure Senya comes out next week. Or tomorrow. Like 99% sure. They usually reveal the unit and the week after they do it. But Church of Ilroy's Axe. This one I did read, so I actually have discussed it with people. But this unit is looking really spicy. Especially for all those early game players that complain about Golden Boys. Right? Yeah, the 3-star SCs, I think it's amazing. This, I'm actually already working on mine. Because I really do think that this buff will make him meta relevant and will make him a really fun booster. So what does it do, right? Let's just go again to the SC one because there's a lot of really cool stuff. Chaos Sect Axe, right? So first, the S1. 75% chance to provoke, and the damage is increases as with the max health, right? So he now is a full bruiser. You give him all HP now. He's a bruiser through and through. You give him HP and critical hit damage, right? Like every other bruiser. The other thing is the provoke goes up to 100% when the enemy is light. You don't see that here, but it's a 100 chance to provoke on a light unit. That is really annoying, right? Being able to provoke is really nice, especially because they're hitting a really tanky unit. They lose a lot, right, from being forced to attack him. The other thing, again, damage based on the caster's max health. Really, really nice that they changed this because it's a lot harder to build him in the past because he needed attack and HP. All his skills are based off HP now. So he just becomes like a juggernaut, right? And that's what he reminds me. He's kind of like a juggernaut, right? Just really, really cool. Then you have the S2. Self-immunity is so nice. And then having the soul burn to decrease, and keep immunity up. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is this go to 2-turn. That's my only gripe, right? It's still amazing, but that's my only gripe because if you don't soul burn this, you lose immunity, right? Which means it still is susceptible against Golden Boys. But what this is really good against is things like a Tywin, right? Because a Tywin can't stun you now if you open with S2. Right, you S2, you get that immunity, a Tywin doesn't do anything turn 1. Right, so it's delaying the time that a Tywin gets to do his S3. Which is really, really, really good. Right, so that is really cool. I think it's really fun. And immunity, again, it's pretty nice, especially because you open with immunity set. So if the A tile wins faster, you have immunity set. If the A tile wins slower, you can give yourself immunity with the S2. Right? And then a Soulburn with 10 turns, being able to reduce this and just do it again is really cool. And it's an AoE attack, right? So that's pretty significant. You can AoE every other turn. That's really cool. And of course, the damage is based on the max health. Again, Bruiser. And AoE is nice to reveal Landy and to hit things like Stand In, right? So you can Soulburn over and over again. This is where you start getting to the spice. This part is where you really start getting to the spice of Axe God. The S3 now penetrates defense if it's a dark enemy, right? It says it right here. So that's the S3, Vigorous Strike, penetrates defense by 40%. So this S3, that does pretty good damage. If you hit a light unit with this, you have a 100% chance to decrease defense, which doesn't really matter. But you penetrate defense by 40%. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. That's going to kill most things, right? Not one shot, but you're going to put them so low, they're not going to be able to come back. And if you're comboing him with other units, right, you get an extra turn, right? So if you have setup, right, let's say you have a more aggressive team against Golden Boys. Let's say you have Basar and some other damage dealers. You poke a little bit. You do this S3. You kill their A Tywin or the Last Rider Crawl. And you get that extra turn. And then you go back into immunity. That's awesome. That is so crazy to me. And the fact that it's based on the max health of the caster is really cool. Right? Because now you can build him almost all HP with like everything else in his kit. That's so good, dude. 40% damage mitigation. I wonder if this kills LQC. I wonder if it's just a race. If it's LQC versus Axe God, if it's just whoever gets S3, whoever gets to S3 first wins the fight. That's cool. Granted, the only problem with this versus LQC is you can't get an attack buff, right? There's no health buff, right? Who's the other banner with Senya? I think for this one it's just Senya for the first week. Latchline, I believe it's just Senya for tomorrow, and then the other two banners are next week. They haven't announced it, I believe, but I can check. We'll check that in a second. But again, this is amazing. And then this is also like, dude, that is so good. They gave him an extra 15% health. Right? Oh, well, 5% health extra. Right? Because I forgot to see this one here. They give him an extra 5% health, but an extra 15% defense. This puts him pretty much at a... This pretty much puts him with 5-star stats. This pretty much puts him at a 5-star stats, which was the biggest problem with SCs is they don't have the greatest base stats. This basically gets him to the point where he's basically a 5-star statted, right? I do not think that Senya is going to be part of the RTA meta. I can talk about her. She has some really cool builds. I'll get to her in a second, JR. That's what we're talking about next is Senya. I'm going to talk about Senya and like all the other stuff I think about her after we finish the buffs. But this one, again, it's like 100% chance to provoke, really good stat increases, penetrates defense. This, and then it keeps getting better, right? It keeps getting better. You also get injury, right? On the which attack? At the attack chain. Attack chain, I believe the S2. Yeah. You get AoE, you get AoE injury. That's really cool. Right? Because now this hurts units like A Tywin. This hurts units like General Purgus. This hits units like Make Chloe. Hits units like Ruel. Right? This hits them pretty good. Right? It's a really good... It's a nice icing on the cake. Right? It reduces healing of a lot of those heroes. It reduces like the total health that T-Cern has, although that doesn't really do much for you. It just makes it easier for your dual attack heroes to do over 50%. That's really cool. The other thing is you have a 50% chance to extend buff duration. Right? And this doesn't matter if it's attack buff, if it's immunity, if it's immortality. You get a 50% chance to increase. Right? So that's really cool as well. And then the injury is amazing. And then this one, a mini General Purgus passive. I thought this one was really cool. Right? Because now you have something that if they do General Purgus S3, they're giving you more CR. Right? So if they are S3 with A Tywin or with General Purgus, they give you CR. Or Last Rider Crawl S3. Think about that as well. That's really cool. Oh, it's only immunity. Thanks for the correction, His Majesty. Yeah, it's only immunity. Feels bad. So it's not everything else. I thought that would be really cool if it was anything else. Just immunity, that's nothing crazy. But it does let you have like a 2-turn immunity. So that's cool. 2-turn immunity is nothing to laugh at. But, man, this one's really cool into the light one. The 10% increase by light elemental heroes. T-Cern as well. If a T-Cern has 3 you get CR. There's a lot of light heroes. That's the thing. Because light heroes are so strong, and like golden boys and all that stuff, they're so prevalent, he does a really good job at stopping them. And then, of course, as Smith mentioned, that I saw him talk about it earlier as well, is that he does have pretty good attack scaling. And every time you hit him, he gets increased attack up to 30%. So with all these passive, he essentially is a 5-star. He's a 5-star hidden in a 3-star's body. He almost has the exact same stats, if not higher in some situations. There's only one form. Yeah, I don't know what it says. I think it's any, meaning from any source, right? So if it's a Sage Ball, if it's a DJ Bazaar that gives you immunity, if it's immunity set, if it's actual attack chain that gives you immunity, all of these, right? So all of those will increase it. But man, it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I think it's really, really cool. I am really happy with the update that they made to him. I think he will 100% be meta relevant. And I think you definitely should build him if you have him. I mean, you should have him. He's a 3-star, right? He's a 3-star unit that can contest with like top tier units in the meta, right? We just got Made Chloe, DJ Bazaar buffs. General Purgus is everywhere. A Tywin still use a ton. Last Shadow Cross still use a ton. Right? So it's a really good unit into these type of teams because he has some form of sustain with the S3 to be able to get 20% of his HP back. He has ways to deal with other things, and he does really well what he does, right? Is he a unit that you can bring him anywhere? No. He's mostly there to counter light units. Think of him like a dark LQC. I thought this is what they were going to make Apocalypse Robbie. I thought they were going to make Apocalypse Robbie the Golden Boys counter, but they decided to make Axe God, and I am all for it. Right? I am all for this. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. There's no reason not to build him. He's a 3-star unit. He doesn't require Mola. He's not extremely difficult to build. Right? It's just a speed set. It's speed set, immunity set, health, critical hit damage, and if you get some attacks, that's nice. Right? Not bad to build. Artifact, I honestly am tempted to use Durandal on him. Or something like, I actually think, Sigurd's Scythe would be pretty good. Because that way you can really counter Golden Boys. Because against Golden Boys, right? You typically, if you can't one-shot Golden Boys, there's no reason for you to start with an S3, right? But if you start with S2, you get that immunity. A-Top and General Purgus can't stun you. And then you're kind of getting advantage off of them. And then if they are able to drop you below 50% with something like a Stane, you can come in the next turn, S3 with him when you're below 50%. Heal 20% as well as heal off of Sigurd's Scythe, essentially full healing. Right? I think Sigurds would be really cool. I could see him using Sigurds. I could use him using Durandal for getting more turns. I could see him also using something like Draco Plate to give him more survivability and more crit damage. Gauntlet, I don't know about Gauntlet. But Lifesteal feels like the best for him. So, I mean, it's not super hard to build him, right? And I think he's going to be a really great booster. Again, will he be used everywhere? No, but against light units, it's pretty big. This actually is probably the most meta-changing unit that they've released this patch. This could really phase out Last Rider Crawl, a Tywin teams, and really push us into FCC with G-Perk being the only light unit that people bring. Because again, while this does counter G-Perk, right, to an extent, G-Perk still gives you advantage over time as you're trying to kill him. Unless you one-shot him, right? Which we don't know. I don't know if we know the ratios or not. We don't know the ratios yet, I'm pretty sure. But once we know the ratios, and we can see how much damage Cowsec can actually do. And if he can one-shot a General Purgus, that'd be crazy. I doubt he will, though. But I really do think Speed Set is what you want. Speed Set to make use of his kit, of his healing, of his low cooldowns, of his damage, of everything. I really do think it's Speed Set, immunity is the way to go for him. Counter Set doesn't really make too much sense for him. I mean, the Provoke is annoying, but it's not worth it. Lifesteal Set would be cool for a Bruiser, but you lose a lot of speed that way. And you don't get to cycle as much of your other stuff. So, really, really cool. I'm excited. I don't know if you guys are. I am super excited. Right? But again, does this counter G-Perk? No. But Last Rider Crawl, a Tywin, even Sage Ball to an extent. All these units are people that are light that you struggle against with. He's really good against that. He's really good at taking down Golden Boys, right? So now you don't need Robbie necessarily, right? To take down Golden Boys, you can just bring him. It's kind of weird because Golden Boys aren't really like the most oppressive team anymore. It's mostly dark units right now. I honestly think LQC is better in the current meta than he will be, but he'll keep light units in check if more are released in the future. To put it mildly, right? If more really good light units are revealed, he'll do really good against them. And of course, he does really good against Spess, right? So just a very good anti-light unit, right? You get so much of going against light. He's kind of like LQC combined with Doris. That's my thoughts on him. I'm definitely building him. I'm already working on him. So that's pretty cool. All right, there's some other stuff that we'll talk about, which is the artifacts. Bloody Rose got an extra effect. I don't like that they made this RNG. Because it's 50% chance to give Empiric Touch. And it's only when you do a single attack, and it's only when it's your turn. This is not enough. Even for PvE, I don't think this is enough. Right? I don't think this is enough to make it use. Definitely not for PvP. There's just no reason. It's a PvE buff, but like, where are you going to use this? Right? Some weird labby. It's so inconsistent. That's what irks me. That it's inconsistent and it doesn't activate off of dual attacks or extra attacks. I do not know why they put this restriction there. I think it would have been a lot better without it. Or if they have made this 100%. I don't know why they chose to do that. Border Coin is really cool. But there's not a lot of... The only problem with Border Coin is who uses it, right? Sermia is cool because you get attack and speed. So that's cool, but Sermia still dies by turn 2. ML Kawana for PvE, this is pretty good. For if you're someone that farms Katie's Hunt, ML Kawana and Kawazu can use this. But besides them, there's not a lot of other warrior heroes that use this. Really cool buff. I think it's really good for PvE. Like, for ML Kawana, this is amazing. Right? But these both are PvE buffs. Right? I don't think a lot of PvP for these two. There's not a lot of units that can use it. This one again is also pretty cool for PvE. Because you increase the damage dealt by a basic skill by 20%. And you can increase some speed. Would be kind of cool for units like Cerise. Just to mess with people. Or for PvE. Or F-Clury as well, right? PvE F-Clury would actually kind of like this. Right? So again... Artifact buffs were not on the point, but everything else, overall, right, as a whole, I really like this patch. I think they hit the units on the nail. I think the updates are fresh. I love that they're buffing SC units. I love that. Because this means that all SC units have the potential to get buffed in the future and do a lot more. And I do think all these are relevant changes. It's a really good patch. Maid Chloe is more than usable now. She's probably going to be super good. Flan, they fixed everything wrong with her. It's not Flan's fault that she's not used anymore. It's just the current meta's fault, right? You can't really, unless you did a full rework. Flan was limited in the fact that she has to be for cleave. And she's limited because there's so many units that counter her playstyle. Cecilia has everything she could have ever wanted. She has more of an identity now as a debuffer, buffer knight. But again, current meta doesn't allow her to shine. And Maid is probably one of the more significant buffs. Overall, I mean, they did everything right by these units. I don't think there was a change that I was like, oh, they missed the mark. I think it had a really good balance between PvP and PvE. Like with Maid Chloe, really good PvP buff. Cecilia, good PvP buff. Flan, good PvP buff. Mercedes and Hazel, good PvE buffs. Carrot, PvP and PvE. Actually, no, not PvE. And then, of course, Church of Axe, really good for PvP. Right? So that's cool. That's really cool. And Sean, the Carrot having a cooldown, it's every turn, right? It's not even every other turn on Carrot. I think she can have Barrier up almost all the time. Really scary to hit her with a really weak skill. Because if you hit her with a weak skill, that means she keeps the damage mitigation. And then she gets to heal back up. And then you have damage mitigation again. She looks fun. Carrot looks fun. But overall, really, really good update. 10 out of 10. Smage hit it on this one. I have 0 complaints with this one. I don't think any character was overbuffed. I don't think any character was underbuffed. I think they did justice by all the characters. Do I wish that they had buffed more? Yes. Do I wish that they had more buffed things like Violet? Yeah, but I think Violet's gonna get an EE soon. That's my guess. Is that Violet will get an EE. And he'll be back to normal. But Maid actually seemed pretty strong. She could really be really scary. But okay, that's it for that one. Let me switch back to what we changed for updates. We're going to be looking at Senya next. So I'm going to switch to Senya's showcase. And then we'll talk about Senya. Because that's another one that I'm sure you guys came to talk about. Solitaria versus OQC. I will tell you right now, Solitaria has not done anything with the current meta. She was too niche. And SSB is still running rampant. Which sucks. She's okay for arena defense though. She's been popping up in arena defense. So there is that. So that's cool. Cecilia's the next Robbie. I mean, Cecilia has already received like 3 different buffs, and she's still not like super crazy. But okay, let me put this in the background while I look up Senya's information, so we can talk about Senya. Then Hero that's gonna be coming to Epic 7 tomorrow, who I will definitely be pulling for because I think she looks really fun. I don't think she's good, right? I don't think that she's a unit that is gonna break the game. I don't think she's meta relevant. I just think she's a waifu, and I'm a simp, and I'm simping for Senya. And I think she does have potential in the future, depending on units that come in the future. But Solitaria is a really cool unit, but she's just not doing much right now. LQC, though, is one of the most staple units in Arena right now, because LQC is really good into Troublemaker Crossette. And as you guys know, Troublemaker Crossette right now is one of the best units out. Fallen Cecilia is very common. LQC is really good right now. LQC is a unit that I'm personally going to be putting a few summons in. Is she worth a pity? If you're at pity, wait till they announce the next unit. I always tell you guys, if you're at pity, wait till they announce the next unit, right? You should wait for sure if you have pity, because you want to know what's coming after a unit before you pull. But LQC is a really good unit. If you're going to pull between LQC and Solitaria, I would say LQC 10 out of 10 every single time. But okay, let me stop this because I need to reset it while we talk about Senya. TLDR of Senya, for the ones that I keep asking me, pull or not. Overall, Senya kind of looks like a pass in terms of viability. Before you hate on me and you're like, but she looks so good, I'm only telling y'all the truth for a free-to-play player. Her kit is not quite there, and neither are the stats to make her meta relevant in Arena or PvP. Does that mean she's unusable? No. She definitely has uses, and we'll talk about them, right? We'll talk about her potential, right? There are certain things that have potential, both in the artifact and in her kit, that down the line I could see becoming good, right? It's one of those units that like you see and they're not good right now, but you could see in the future getting better with time, right? And yes, Senya's artifact screams Charlotte. Screams Charlotte. Let me finish this Wyvern run while I mentally get prepared so I can reset the hunts. Since you guys know it's hunt buff, make sure you're farming. Make sure you're farming right now. I guess it's time while we do the little intermission between what we just talked about buffs and between what we just are about to talk about with Senya. Make sure you're farming your Wyverns. It's the event. You get the most claws right now. You get a lot of gold. You get a lot of good stuff. There's also like the 70 summon event. I hope y'all are getting a lot of summons. I really hope that y'all are getting some good summons on this 70 summons. I hope everyone's getting Arbiter Vildrets from their summons, and I hope y'all are being lucky. On my side, I have not pulled a single 5-star from the event, but I have pulled 1 5-star artifact. But yeah, and make sure if you're liking the content, make sure you subscribe, right? If it's your first time through, I do guides and discussions all the time and other fun content, right? But okay, let me finish this one and let's talk about it. Oh man, why can't this Wyvern be faster? I wish I had a one-shot team. I might consider building it. Dude, I swear Wyvern has like an extra passive that is just like resist debuffs like at a higher rate. It sucks because I don't think this bleeds kill. Yeah, holy moly, that sucks. Because he missed his decreased defense. This sucks. You got drink? 145. Whoa, Barum, you need to start crafting, bro. You need to start using them crafts, bro. That'd be really nice if you could use those crafts. It'd be really spicy. You got BBK. BBK's cool. At this point, alright. This sounds kind of like a flex, but at this point, I have every single ML 4-star in the game. So when I get purple sparks, I don't get excited anymore. I know that's bad, and it makes me kind of sad, but it's just like, because I have every single ML 4-star, if it's not a 5-star from the shiny, which is very rare, right? It's like 1 in 20 dark sparks will be a 5-star. It's just very disappointing. So if it's not a 5-star, I get really sad because I already have all the 4-stars. So that part kind of sucks. That part does kind of suck. But okay. Enough about that. Let me start this hunt because I need the gold, because I need to keep buying bookmarks to prepare for the collab and for tomorrow. What am I spending gold on? Or are you asking Baron what he's spending gold on? I mean, right now I spend gold on bookmarks. Because I'm a gacha whale. But I do use my materials though. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? First world problems. Okay. Enough about my first world problems. Enough intermission. Let's get to this. Also, I also do refresh shop a lot. Okay, let's talk about Senya. So first, how does she look? Oh my, dude, she looks great. She looks like a wife. Like, what do you want me to say? She looks amazing. Just of looks alone, I'm pulling, right? We're simping, bro. We're simping. Collab in a month, we're still simping, right? She looks great, and the animations look so cool, dude. She's such a good character with so much wasted potential. I hate this new design thing that Smage did, that they did with Mort, with like the one buff thing. But let's get to the stats. Okay, stats. The stats are interesting. As far as attack for Senya, she has the highest attack stat in the game. She officially has surpassed Gunther on the attack scale. She officially, she has the most attack in the game. So highest attack stat in the game, what does that count for? I don't know. She has highest attack in the game, whatever that is. The HP for a knight is not great. It's decent. It's not bad. I mean, it's like over 6k, which is good, but it's not crazy, right? Speed. This speed is atrocious. This is probably her biggest weak point. The speed is terrible. The speed is terrible, dude. They made her so slow. This is probably the biggest problem that she has, is how low her speed is. This is honestly the biggest weakness. And the defense. The defense is also not that high. I mean, it's higher than average, but for a knight, again, you have to compare it to other knights. This is fully awakened. This is everything. Right? Highest attack stat with her passive. Pretty low HP. Pretty low defense. No help on crit rate, which she doesn't need any crit rate. Right? No help on critical hit damage, which again, she doesn't need critical damage. These two stats are useless for her. But you would have thought that the health, speed, and defense would make up for not needing critical hit rate and critical hit damage, but they don't. Right? So this is like, it kind of sucks, but yeah, we'll talk about why they made her this slow, what the thought process was, but why it's not great in some situations. So let's talk about it. It's not great. It's not the greatest speed, but really good attack. So stat-wise, not terrible. As Joe mentioned, there's other knights that have done well with low speed, like Crawl. I didn't know Crawl was that slow. But usually they float around 200 speed, right? So let's see the rest of her kit. So that's cool and all. That's nice. Let's see the S2. The S2 is probably the coolest one that I think she has. I think this is actually a really good S2. Like, all in all, this is a really good S2, right? So the Casa cannot trigger a critical hit attack. So again, she has Gunther passive. With the highest attack comes great responsibility to not be able to crit. I don't know why this is a rule, but it is what it is. You cannot crit, but you get increased attack. And this increased attack is already in her base stats. So if you're wondering why is her attack so high, is it this plus the 30%? No, this should include the 30% attack boost. I'm pretty sure. If it doesn't, that's pretty cool. So I wonder if it does. I'm pretty sure this already includes it, but if it doesn't, that'd be really cool. That'd be really, really crazy. I don't believe it does, but she also does get increased critical hit resistance up to 50%. This part is really good. She essentially has a crit resist buff. If you were to give her a Deanny crit resist buff, she does get 100% crit resistance, right? So just from this one is really cool, right? Just these two are really cool. Then you see the passive. When not hit by a critical hit, you have a reflect passive. And you also activate Grace of the Battlefield that can only be activated once per 2 turns. The buffs that you get are kind of dookie, to be completely honest with y'all. Attack buff is nice. Increased effectiveness, absolutely useless. Increased defense is amazing. Continuous healings is nice, but nothing crazy. Debuff immunity is pretty nice, right? So you have 3 good ones, right? That are all random. My biggest gripe with this one, with Senya, the biggest gripe I have with this S2 is not even that it's inconsistent. It's the fact that the buffs are 1 turn. I hate this new Smallgate like thinking that they're doing. They did the exact same thing with Mort, where they already give them a really harsh restriction. That's once every 2 turns, but they can't give them the buff for more than 1 turn. For Senya, it's not as bad as Mort, because she can trigger this a lot more often, right? She will trigger this a lot more often than Mort, because people are gonna be hitting your Senya a lot more than your Mort is gonna be doing S1s. So this is not that big of a deal, but I still hate that it's only for 1 turn. But 1 turn is sometimes all you need. Where can this be really good? If you really wanna mess up on Athletica's day, imagine an Athletica S2. She misses the crit. she doesn't get as much CR push. You proc this S2 and you get like debuff immunity, or you get increased defense. Then the Athletica is just like, well, damn, GG. That's annoying. So that is tough. Guarantee crits can still get through. Yes, Colin. Guarantee crits can still go through. Does her attack go down if she gets sealed by Emeru? Yes, her attack would go down, I believe. So this, again, it's pretty cool. I like the reflect. I like a lot of stuff in this kit. So there's some stuff I really like that I see potential in, but there's some things that I'm just like, man, that's tough. So first, consistency is not great, but because you're gonna get this at least once per turn, once every 2 turns, you are gonna get this passive off quite often. Why? She has provokes, which we'll see in a second, and she also has ways to get provokes, right? And just AoEs overall. They're bound to miss a crit once, right? It's going to happen, right? Are you sure, Rogue Duelist? I'm pretty sure it should be 100%, unless it doesn't stack. I always thought crit resistance was additive. One way to check would be to put a Gunther and a Diani together. Maybe we can try that in a second. After I talk about this, maybe we'll go into an RTA room. I'll put a Gunther in there. Or if anyone has a Gunther with a Diani, we can test it out. I'll put a unit that has a 100% crit. So I don't know if it stacks or not. But again, 50% is cool. Right? So that's really cool. The fact that she reflects damage when not crit on, that's really cool. Right? And it's based on her attack. And then the buffs are kind of cool that they're AoE. Once per 2 turns kind of sucks, and then consistency kind of sucks as well. So that's pretty cool, right? The S2 is pretty cool. I think it's a really cool S2. When I first saw this skill, I was so excited because I was like, man, Senya's already looking really good. I don't have a lot of gripes with this skill. I think the skill is actually pretty spicy, and I think it had a lot of potential. I thought they were gonna make her like this massive juggernaut that would reflect, right? Because I saw it reflect and like the attack, and I was like, man, this could be really cool. Right, this could be like one of those units that like AoE strips and provokes, kind of like an F10A, and then you attack her and then you get damage like a barrier or something, right? That would be really cool. But let's see some of the other stuff, right? Let's see I kind of want to see the damage that this does. I can't see how much damage she actually did to the Polides. I want to see how much damage the S2 does, because if it does a lot of damage, it could be really, really good. It did 1,600 and the Polides hit her for 1,300? Wait, that doesn't make any sense. How did it hit the Polides for so much damage? Wait. Let me put this lower and then I can go... Because I want to see the damage on this S2 that the Reflect does. So it does 1,332 and it does 1,872. That's not bad. Wait, that's actually pretty nice. I wonder how much attack this Senya has too. No attack buff either. Because it's based on the attack. That's cool. It's after Polly does damage. It's based on her attack. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah, it's based on her attack. So 1,872. I mean, that's good. Hey, what's up, 404? That's good. I mean, that's really spicy. I think that's super spicy. That alone, I think, is a really cool mechanic that we don't have. Like, punishing people for hitting you. Right? Imagine a Landy misses a crit, and then you do, like, 2k onto her. That's cool. That's nice. I mean, it's not bad, but again, it's not reliable damage. That's one of the problems that she has. But it could come in handy for poke damage, right? Then we have the S3. AoE, decrease hit chance for 2 turns. And you get a counterattack stance. So nothing crazy as far as this S3. 100% chance to decrease hit chance for 2 turns means you're less likely to crit on her, which means you're more likely to do other things to the enemy. The only problem is if they have immunity or high F-res. That's honestly the big one, right? With things like Maid Chloe being out now, things like Troublemaker Crusade being able to cleanse, General Purgus, all these things that punish AoE can cleanse or high F-res makes the decreased hit chance not as scary anymore, but still pretty annoying, right? We've all fought Archer Vildreds where this is really annoying. And the counterattack stance is really nice because we'll see where it's for a second. The S1 is pretty spicy. So this counterattack stance, if y'all don't know what it does, is every time you get hit, you counter with 100%, which is really cool on a unit that does damage based on the damage that she does. So that's cool. This can be stripped, so a lot of units can also strip it. Basar can just give her unable to be buffed and she does nothing. Briarwitch can give her unable to be buffed and she does nothing. Ross can strip this. Emil Hayes can strip this. What are some other units that have like random strips? Landy doesn't proc this, so if you counterattack with Landy, Stannis still eats through this because Stannis can't be countered. So there's a lot of units that kind of just get bypass this counter mechanic, but it's still cool that she gets it. Emil Rin can steal it. Yeah, exactly. That would be kind of messed up. If someone picked Emil Rin against your Senya, you're in trouble. You're pretty much losing the fight at that point. Not a crazy S3. I think the S3 is not insane. But I mean, it's nice. It's not a super crazy stacked S3. It's actually pretty simple, right? All it does is decrease hit chance and give her counter buff, which is unique, right? Not a lot of people have that. So that part, I thought it'd have more. I wish it stripped one buff. I know that may be asking for a lot, but I feel like if this stripped, then it makes more sense, right? Because then you're more likely to get the decreased hit chance. And then there's the S1 that is basically a 100% chance to provoke, because if she doesn't do that, it's really, really good. And yes, Landy will also wreck her because Landy can stop that. So that's pretty cool as well. And then a 100% chance to provoke only when it's not your turn, which means if you proc a counter buff or Elris. So overall, she had a very promising start. Her kit looked really good at the beginning. I saw the crit resist. This makes her tankier inherently because less chances to get crit means people are doing less damage onto you. The no attack makes her quote unquote easier to build. This does not make it easier to build. I can tell you guys why it doesn't make it easier to build, because to be realistic for you guys, how many of you guys have gear that has HP, defense, attack percentage, but no critical hit damage and no critical hit rate? Not a lot of gear, right? Most people don't have attack percentage, attack flat, defense flat, like all those substats without having crit rate or critical hit damage in it. If you do, then Senya will be really easy to build. In that aspect, Senya is really easy to build. All Senya wants is attack, HP, defense, and some speed. Right? That's it. That's all she really wants. Right? So that's all she really wants. So she's pretty easy to build, right? This actually is like a blessing and a curse that it's easy to build as long as you have the gear. Right? The other thing is that this mechanic I think is really cool, but the problem with this mechanic, and the reason why they're doing it makes sense, is that it's based off of the caster's attack. Why is that significant? Why is it based on the attack significant? Senya's a knight that doesn't have the greatest defensive stats. For her to do her job and to do damage, she needs to build attack, which means she's inherently going to be squishier, right? So because she's going to effectiveness increase is 50% effectiveness increase. It gives you a higher chance to it doesn't give you a higher chance. It makes it so if someone has FRS, you can bypass their FRS and land your debuffs. So if you want to reliably land debuffs, you do effectiveness, even though you always have a 15% chance to not land. So that part kind of sucks that it's based on attack but not tank, but it makes sense because she's a unit. They don't want another Bruiser Knight that's just all bulk and can do a bunch of work, right? They don't want another really big bulky unit that does a lot of work. So it makes sense what they do based on damage. The damage on this is really cool. The trigger condition is not super hard to meet. And then the buffs are kind of nice, right? It sucks it's only one turn, but it's not terrible. But then the problems start with the S3, where the kit starts becoming a little bit less cohesive, right? Where she's trying to do too much. I don't think she needed the decreased hit chance. That's a part that just kind of irks me. The decreased hit chance doesn't really mix too well, besides, decreased hit chance, less chance to crit. That's the only reason, right? That's the only, like, logic behind this skill 3. And I don't like that. I don't think it makes too much sense for her. I think it's just kind of like, they just kind of threw it in there, but it doesn't really make sense with the rest of her kit. The counterattack sense is really cool. I would have liked this to strip and decrease hit chance would have been cool, or give herself attack buff. If she gave herself attack buff, I think that would have been really, really cool, right? If this gave herself attack buff, oh yeah, this S3 would have fit perfectly with the rest of her kit. But right now, it's kind of wonky. Yeah, even self-cleanse just feels very dependent. It makes her very dependent. Right now, she's a very dependent unit. That's the thing I don't like about her. And then, of course, the S1. It's a worse version of every other Knight's Provoke. Every other Knight in this game has a 100% chance to provoke without a condition. Why does she have to have a condition? Think about that. Why does she have to have a condition for her provoke? The provoke fits into her kit, right? Because you provoke them, they hit you, you don't do different stuff. But every other knight with the provoke S1 already has like higher. Even A Tywin already has this S1 basically, but he steals souls, right? Crimson Armin, 100%. Fallen Cecilia, 100%, right? So it's kind of weird that they didn't make it 100% and didn't really give it an extra effect. No sustain either. Yeah, that's true. So overall, just very dependent, right? And it doesn't fit cohesively. So my problem with Senya is she doesn't self-attack. She's not self-sufficient unit. That's my only problem with her. No, Crimson Armin's 100% as well. His Majesty, and that's a 4-star ML. A Tywin and Crawl and General Purgus are 75%. But they all usually have other effects aside from General Purgus. Like A Tywin steals souls off the S1. And Crawl is just a regular provoke. But he has a lot of other stuff. But again, it just feels a little bit weaker. I guess it's just like Cross. So I guess I can't ask for too much since she does have an extra effect on it. But overall, I think the biggest problem with Senya is she's very reliant on other units. And that's her biggest problem, right? She does have clear defined weaknesses. And I just don't see, where would you take her? In what situation are you like, yes, I want Senya in this fight? She doesn't really have a lot of situations where you want to bring her in, except to go against like maybe F10A, right? But for the most part, it's like, I mean, she does hit things like Craw, but it's just, what situation do you want her? She doesn't do anything against Landy, doesn't do anything against Stene. Does okay against Stene, I guess, if she misses crit all the time for the Stene. There's not a lot of places that you really would like to bring her. SSB would be nice since SSB can kill herself on her. That's true. For PvE, you can bring her in Blue Expedition. The other one would be Cleaving, right, with Lilius. And usually I don't, I'm just trying to think about it. I just don't see a lot of situations that you want to bring Senya. Into T-Cern, yeah, that's true. It's not bad. But you have to rely on not critting though. So 50-50. Which is not bad. I mean, T-Cern, I imagine you're gonna build an immunity, right? It's pretty standard that you're gonna build it on immunity. All slow units usually use immunity, so it's kind of like a no-brainer that you build her with immunity. You still hard lose to certain things though. But okay, I know I'm being really negative, but I don't want to call her trash because as we can see, she has some stuff that can get better into different situations. Right? Into different situations, she like in the future as the game goes on, she can be really, really good, right? So where can I see her be really annoying, right? Again, as we mentioned, T-Cern or units that are forced to S3, units that are forced to hit her is really cool. The other thing where I see potential is because she has a highest base attack. This means that she can combo off with units like Lilius. If we get other units in the future that combo with Lilius, they can also do really, really good, right? So with that situation, like if there's other Lilius style units that do damage based on the highest attack unit in the game, then you can potentially see her a lot more as well, right? That's really cool. That's really nice, right? So there's a lot of really cool stuff that I could see her because she's the highest attack unit that in the future can release. The Reflect, I think it's a really unique thing, and I think we're going to see her more in other units. I think the Reflect damage has a lot of potential. The damage on it is not bad for poking down things like T-Cern, right? Or things like SSB that are forced to AoE, or even things like Dizzy, right? Where you're forced to attack and AoE. The other thing is you also have things that can break her attack. That's more like the negative if you get attack broken. The other thing is that she is still a knight. Elris Sword does work on her, right? So Elris Sword with a counter stance, you can potentially have a situation where you can provoke down the enemy and pop off. But again, as we mentioned, there is so much anti-control hate right now. Control units are probably at their lowest they've ever been. Right? Currently, control units are at the lowest point they've ever been. So even though the provoke is really cool with things like Elris Sword with the counter buff and being able to lock down, essentially perma lockdown units for 2 turns. Because if you think about it, if you get 1 provoke in a unit, they will hit her, force her to provoke again, force her to counterattack, get provoked again. and then they're forced to hit her again and potentially take more damage. That could be a really fun, cool situation, right? I don't think she's absolutely useless. Those type of situations, like perma-locking a unit down for 2 turns unless they resist, is really cool, right? That'd be really fun. But that's assuming they don't have immunity up, they don't strip you, and that, which, like, those are things that are really hard, right? Most people run immunity or don't strip you, or they don't have cleanse, or they don't have high FRS units. So, kind of sucks in that aspect. Landy still destroys her. Stennis still destroys her. Which are the 2 biggest units right now. Ravi destroys her because inherently Ravi's a fire unit. So she also loses to Ravi. General Purgus can stun her. A Talon can stun her. She doesn't have self-cleansing. Basar, Briarwitch. She has so many counters, dude. She has so many counters. I remember how hype we are when Mort was announced. I mean, she looks really cool, right? So I think no crit. Yeah, no crit means less damage. So she's not absolutely useless. I'm not going to say she's unplayable, right? Mort's unplayable. Mort is actually unplayable. After playing Mort is unplayable. At the worst, she is the new Gunther. At the worst. Like, worst case scenario, Senya's the new Gunther. Highest attack stat unit, can pop off with Lilius, right? Can set up some cool combos. At the worst. At the best, she's a really good water counter in the future. Especially if we go back to a water meta in the future. That's like at best. At best, she's a solid knight into water teams. That would be at best, right? So that's her situations. I don't think she's worth it. She seems really quirky, and she seems like you'll need a lot of support to actually make her work. She can function for water expedition, but she doesn't really have decreased defense. Mort's actually better for water expedition. Fun fact: Mort is actually a pretty solid water expedition unit. Why? Because he has a decreased defense on that S1. But besides that, Mort doesn't really see much play, right? He's kind of useless. She's not absolutely useless. Like, Mort is absolutely unplayable. She's not unplayable. She's definitely playable. I just don't see her being like super OP. She has decent matchups against some units like T-Surin, like we mentioned, assuming that she has immunity turn 1 and they don't strip you. So Mort actually is really good for Blue Expedition. If y'all are wondering for a knight for Blue Expedition, Mort's actually really good for that. Because he has a decreased defense that can be resisted. So, not a bad unit. But I prefer using fucking Eclairy. As far as the artifact, there's only one hero I can think of that uses this, and it's Charlotte. This looks really cool for Charlotte. Because Charlotte always AoEs, and you do extra damage based on your attack. For her, Elris is just better. So for her, you want Elris Sword because you want to use the provoke, you want people attacking you. There's no reason you wouldn't put her on Elris. But for things like Charlotte that don't really need a lot of the other artifacts, this could be really cool since you just do a lot of extra damage. It becomes kind of like a drink, which is kind of cool. This is really cool for things like Charlotte, but I don't think any other knight can really use this and make use of this, right? Besides the Charlotte, right? So besides Charlotte, that's it. That's the only other one that I can. Senya comes out tomorrow, in case you're wondering. So overall, should you pull? Should you pass? Again, as we mentioned, she has a lot of inherent flaws. She doesn't really have a lot of scenarios where she shines better than other units. Besides, like, maybe T-Surin. That's the one that I keep thinking that I'm actually like, oh, that'd be pretty good, right? Into T-Surin, that's actually not a bad option at all. But since it's like true damage based on if they don't crit on you. But she has a lot of inconsistencies and is very, very reliant on the team and on not getting debuffed down. So, not the greatest. Kind of disappointed in her, honestly. But I'm still pulling for her because she looks like a waifu. And I think she has potential in the future, either through an EE, a buff, or just new units getting introduced, that she will have a potential to be a good unit, right? So I do think that she does have potential in the future to be okay and to get better with time. But it's just rough. What would the best way to try to get Ervalin? Why do you want Ervalin? 404. What's the reasoning for Ervalin? No one's really come out and asked me, hey man, how do I get Ervalin? But usually to get a unit, you have to wait for their banner or pray that you pull for her. So all in all, not crazy, right? Pretty disappointing as far as Senya. I thought she could have been a lot better. I thought she could have done a lot more. But I mean, recently, like, Smiling has been really scared to release good RGBs. The last non-limited RGB that we got was Polides. That's it. That was the last non-limited RGB that we got the past year that was meta relevant. Ida didn't do anything. Moore didn't do anything. Kana didn't do anything. Urvalin didn't do anything. I can't even remember the other ones that came out in the past. Cowrick didn't do anything. Most 5-star RGB heroes didn't haven't done much. Polides has been the last non-limited. That's all I'm gonna say. The last non-limited RGB besides Polides. Alright? RGB 5-stars haven't been, they've been pretty weak. Celine was way past last year. Flan, oh yeah, Flan didn't do anything. Like, all these units have not done anything, dude. It's Celine last year. Celine, when she was released, didn't do much. Celine post-buff did a little bit more. She was okay. Celine was okay. But Polides was actually, like, the biggest one. Like, in the past year that has done anything significant was Polides. All the other RGB 5-stars that are not limited have not done anything to the meta. Arc's even not... Oh, no. How is Arc's even useless, bro? Come on, now. We all know she's really, really good. Alright, there's some other updates we need to talk about. So let me pull them up. While we pull them up, I will put some background of my Wyvern team. So, because there's some other small updates to talk about. The hunt buff is out right now. Oh yeah, the Challenger recall. The Sedum. This was just really quick. If you didn't know, Challenger Dami is getting a recall, and you can check if you have a mirror imprint. I suggest you all go and do this if you have a dupe Sedum and you don't play Cleave. You can get, this is your chance to get a 4-star of your dreams. This, Smiley didn't need to do this. I don't know why they did it, but I was able to fill out my MO 4-star calendar because of this. But you go through this process, you click the submit inquiry, you check the account, you do all this stuff, and then you can get a 4-star ML of your choice, get all those resources back and for your Sedum you're not using, and then get a Sedum back in the future in case you want to use her when you ever decide to cleave. Right, but make sure you have a dupe, because Sedum's still always nice to have. So make sure, yes, there's a dupe Sedum thing, Sedum recall. There is no reason. Sedum has not changed at all. It literally was just a wording change. But they decided to give a free recall for her. I do not get the thought process, but I think it's really, really good. So, pretty cool. But hey, what's up, Aaron? So let me see some of the other things. Our team is really good. But I think the thing about it, it's like they've released so many OP units in the past. That's the thing. Like they all limited units have been OP. They've always been on the money with the, like, think of Tenet. Tenet was bonkers. Cerise buff were bonkers. But yes. Our AMR was a really good unit. But yes, just know that you can do a recall on this. You can get T Crosset, G Perg. Who should you pull from this? Like from this thing? If you get the dupe, if you're super into RTA, you want to get General Purgus or T Crosset. Right? Those are your two options basically. T-Cern is also a nice option for RTA. T-Cern is really good for Arena and RTA. General Purgus is just bonkers for everything. If you don't have a G-Perg and you have an extra Sedum, get G-Perg. If you don't have a T-Crosset and you have an extra Sedum, he's like the up-and-coming knight. He's starting to see a ton more play. She's kind of insane, right? He's a really good unit. So that's the other unit you should really consider pulling. T-Cern, again, I mentioned. If you don't care about any of those, but you have dupe Sedums, you can also get something like Oxlots. Or if you're trying to do a one-shot Wyvern, which is really good for farming, you can get a simple Angelica. If you want a Kitty, that's good. That's fine. You can only reroll one Stuffles. You can only reroll one Sedum. And make sure you check through the website. I legit got here by clicking on the general news and it's pinned. So make sure you go through this process to see how many Sedums you have. It's always nice to have a copy of a Sedum. You never know when you're going to decide to cleave and when you're going to want to have her. Right? So if you never cleaved and you don't have a dupe and you're never considering cleave, then you should still potentially recall her like Myth mentioned. Because there's some other units that are way more changing. So Kenneth, if you're a new player and you haven't really figured out your playstyle, I suggest you keep your CDOM if you don't have a dupe. And you can check if you have a dupe of CDOM, right? You can check if you have CDOM dupes and they will refund them to you, even if you've ever gotten it, right? If you've ever gotten a CDOM in the past or multiple, they will check that for you and they will return one for you, right? So make sure you check that because it's a free ML4 star. But if you're a new player who hasn't really settled on a playstyle, I would suggest keeping the CDOM just because you don't know what you want. And you could end up being a cleave player and never being able to cleave if you don't have it. But this is it's really nice. I mean, I think this is a really cool with Smile Game. They should do more of this just for fun. I think it's really cool and they should do this for other heroes, but just the recall portion. I don't need a reroll. Just a recall would be really cool. If they just let us recall random units at different times, I think that's amazing because I get a ton of other stuff. Hey, what's up, TC? But yeah, this one's really cool. So that one I'm excited about. Just do that. Some other game updates. Let me actually find it. What the heck is this? I didn't know there was a haiku. That's a weird event. I'm not a poet. Let me actually get to the update content. Because there was some really cool stuff that came out. I've not done the storyline, so please don't spoil it for me. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I took my CDOM out because I haven't been cleaving. And I got the last 4-star that I didn't need. So don't spoil the story for me. I still need to do it. It's pretty nice. I don't know. I like the storyline. Hopefully this one's as good as the other one. This one I'm excited for. Nothing crazy. The boots. Why do they give... This is a trash boot. Holy cow. Whoa. Did Smiley sit down and we're like, yo, let's make the worst critical hit damage boot possible. I feel like this is what Smiley did when they made this boot. Holy cow. Effectiveness is absolutely useless. Health is useless. Speed is useless. The only stat that matters is crit rate. And yes, that's weird. We talked about Vildred and Lilius in the past video. This one kind of went really unnoticed. I didn't know that you could actually go 8 people can now go on your expeditions. So they up the number of people that can go into your expeditions up to 8. So now your requirement to clear an expedition level 3 is like... How much is it now? To clear an expedition level 3, you only have to do like 200k. Like 200 something k and you'll be able to do it. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, this is so bad, dude. They really were out here like... I don't know. But yeah, for this, it's I didn't notice that, but you can invite 8 people. 8 people can do an expedition now. So expedition level 3 is super dummy easy. Super easy. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to get a very basic expedition team and be able to be clearing level 3s as a mid-game player. I really think it's really easy to do that now because of all the things that they have done. Hi from Abos. Hell yeah, white base. And yeah, for Joe, if you want to add me, you can add me. I try to do all of them as long as they like... people finish them. But okay, then as far as the other stuff, yeah, the expedition team slots, man, this was really cool. I don't know why they added this. This was nice. I guess because it switches. Maybe they'll give us all 4. And this is the part that I was talking about. It's 8 players now. Again, it lowers the requirements a lot. Like a lot. And they made 2 and 1 a lot easier. And this one we already talked about, that there's a recall. That one was cool. Coin shop. I can tell you right now, none of these units are worth it. Don't spend your coin shops. If you can get the don't do it. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do this. Don't spend on any of these. They're not worth it. This one was really cool. I didn't talk about it, but the value of some of these packs is really cool. The value on this one is not bad, right? Because I believe this one's $10. It's $10, but you get 7 days, 4 summons. If you think about this as the crystal value, you are getting 28 summons. So you're essentially getting 2,800 crystals off of this. You get 3,000 crystals for $10. That's really good value. If you look at it that way, that's essentially what you're getting. Yeah, you don't get to spend the crystals where you want, but that's essentially you're getting. It's not bad value. So if you're a spender, it's not bad value. It is very RNG, but when you really get down to it, you're essentially getting 28 summon. You're getting 30 summons for $10. Usually, that's pretty good. Charm Pack is kind of trash. There's another one that was pretty good. This artifact we talked about already. I think that's pretty much it for the small updates. And the last one I have is the rotation. So let me stop the Wyvern hunts. So let me do it. Galaxy cones and accessories. Yeah, I mean, if you have all the other ones. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, the value on that one is really good. There's another pack that they didn't show. That was the charm pack. That one was like, whoa, it was $10 and you got all these charms. I was like, that's kind of crazy. That one was also really good value. And of course, Burning Passion packs. This event was really nice. I mean, like, this past week has been really nice. Even if you get nothing from your summons, you still get the powders, you still get the gold transit stones. It's all good value, right? You get a lot of value from a lot of the current events. Even if you get unlucky, you still get a lot of good stuff. You get a lot of powders for get ready for the collab. Kind of weird that they did it right before the collab. Maybe they just wanted some extra money. Yeah, the main packs are... The second main pack, I would say, is not worth it. But the first main pack is. The main packs are good, though. The main packs are really good. But okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about, as far as updates go, is going to be the summon. So we're actually going to be going in-game for this, right? So as far as the summons and Mystic Rotation, right? Solitaria goes away in 21 hours, right? And this banner is really tragic. Besides General Purgus imprints and Acades, actually it's not bad. Aureus is good. Purgus is good for General Purgus imprints, and Acades is a good unit if you already don't have her, but you probably should have her at this point. But Aureus is really nice, and Tome is really nice, actually. This is a really good 4-star lineup. And Troublemaker Cosette is amazing right now. Very worth the pull. But if you're a pity, Solitaria, I don't think it's worth the pity. Right? So if you're a pity, I don't think she's worth the pity. But next week, we are getting Little Queen Charlotte. This is actually a pretty good banner as far as heroes go. Right? For Crow, Champ C dupes, Cosette dupes. Right? The artifacts aren't crazy, though. So, as far as this one, it's not the greatest. It's pretty good because of Crow, and it's pretty good because of Crossette. You get more imprints off him, but not a lot more besides that. But the LQC is the next banner hero. And LQC right now is becoming one of the best heroes for RTA and for Arena. Why? Again, T-Crossette, Fallen Cecilia, Dark Meta. ML heroes are still by far the most used heroes in Epic 7. And because of that, with Dark being so strong, LQC's S3 being able to just dunk and do so much AoE damage off of it is invaluable in the current meta. It destroys Troublemaker Crossette. Not only can she potentially one-shot T-Crossette, but you do so much damage to the rest of the team that it's just almost you win off of that S3. Right? You pretty much win off of getting Little Queen Charlotte's S3 off. It does a lot. And if you pair it with something like General Purgus with an attack buff, then you're definitely killing. Right? Then you're killing that T-Crossette like they're nothing. They're just paper at that point. So overall, she's really amazing. In Arena, her with G-Prig and Last Order Craw is the most popular Arena offense higher up. Why? Fallen Cecilia is everywhere. You put General Purgus, you put Last Order Craw, you destroy. And yes, she also works insanely well with T-Crossette. Yeah. So she's becoming one of the best RTA bruisers in the game. The only thing about her is she's extremely difficult to build, right? So a lot of early game players, I can already see complaining that their Little Queen Charlotte does nothing. A lot of people are going to complain about that. Why? She's not an easy unit to build. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even think I have the gear to actually build her properly. She's a very hard unit to build. She wants a lot, right? She wants tank, she wants damage, she wants critical hit damage, she wants attack, and she wants some tank stats. She wants every single stat in this game aside from effectiveness and FRS, right? So the fact that she wants so much makes it really hard to build, but it's so worth it. Y'all realize this is a 3-turn cooldown. Basically one-shot skill that does AoE damage. And if you soul burn it, you can do it every other turn. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. The S1 self-immunity can never really debuff her unless you have a Bazaar, right? And then, of course, she gets a built-in Adamant Shield. Decreases damage suffered from critical hit of all eyes, except for the caster, by 15%. So, the only thing is she doesn't get it for herself, which does make her more susceptible to getting one-shot, but she essentially functions as an Adamant Shield holder. So it gives some damage mitigation to the rest of your team. You pair this with T-Crossette to protect her, and you have some pretty nice protection going on there, where you can get killed quite easily. And then, of course, you also get CR push if you get crit. Oh, she gets 30. Yeah, I can't read. Thanks, Tab. Thank you. I can't read. Yeah, she gets her own. She gets 30%. So again, her with T said is essentially, it's not 70%. I made that mistake in the RTA video. I forget that damage reduction and damage sharing are not additive. They're multiplicative. So it wouldn't be 70%. It'd be more like 58%. Right? So she essentially gets 58% total damage mitigation when she's with T-Crossette. That's ridiculous, right? Very good unit. Very, very good unit. Can't complain, right? I am going to try to pull for her. I don't have a lot of pulls for her. If you're someone that is free to play or is close to pity, wait. You have to wait 1 week, right? That's all you need to wait for. 1 more week, and you can see who the next ML hero is going to be. So there's no reason for you to be pulling on her banner on the first day. So just wait. And not damage mit. Tico said is damage share, right? So she gets 30%. The rest of her team gets 15%. Tico said is sharing, so it stacks together. Dakura. So this is decreased damage. Decreased damage is different from damage share. Tico said is damage share. She's damage mitigate. That's why Adamant Aureus can work together. But this and Adamant does not work well together. That makes any sense. And this 15% goes to the allies. And she gets 30% on her own. And later 404. Yeah, but damage mitigation is one thing. Damage share is another. That's a really big misconception. Let me actually write that down. Because I need to write that down. Because there's a lot of questions about that people still are not sure about. So that's cool. Okay. That's nice. Let me write that down because that's a video idea. But again, I think it's really cool. I think it's really, really solid. She's a great unit. The Wonder Silk sucks, though. This is useless. She's absolutely useless. Some people like to use her for fun. She's useless. If you get a 4-star ML Silk, there's not a lot you could do. So that one's not great. But she's really good. And then this, again, I would wait. I would just wait if you're a free-to-play player. While this banner is nice, you know, Craw is a really good unit. Crossette imprints are always really good. You're probably, like, you should wait 1 more week. It's worth it to see who the next ML is. And you can even pull on this banner still Wednesday morning, right? So you can literally just wait till they reveal the unit and then pull. So, yes, you can mitigate Gunther. Yeah, the only unit that does full damage would be things like Adamant Shield. Not Adamant Shield. Or not. What's the name of the artifact? Proof of Valor is full damage mitigation, and Crimson Armin is full damage mitigation. Most other artifacts like Adamant Shield is crit damage reduction, but it still falls under damage mitigation. Does that make any sense? I'm not close to pity at all. I mean, you can see right here how much I have. Right? I do have a lot of crystals that I'm going to be refreshing shop for Senya and for collab units. That's why I'm trying to farm a lot more for gold. But, I mean, just wait till next week. Right? Just wait till next week before you pull and just see what the next ML is. But, again, damage mitigate is one thing. Damage sharing is another. Things that fall under damage mitigation are things like Adamant Shield. Things like Proof of Valor. And then things that fall under damage share are things like Seaside Bellona and other things. This does not stack with Crimson Armin. Yes. Because it falls under damage mitigation. Because it decreases damage suffered by 15-30%. So it will not stack with Crimson Armin. Crimson Armin has the best damage mitigation because it doesn't matter if it's crit or not. Proof of Valor is the only one that's better than that. Again, so just remember that. I'll make a video about it, kind of explaining it. Blood Moon Haze passive, again, doesn't stack with this. Because they're both fall under damage mitigation. But again, if there's a situation where they don't crit, Emil Haze and Crimson Armin both don't check for crits. So, Crimson Armin is actually not a bad unit right now. She's starting to be seeing a lot more play. But she requires like a really good, like really smart player to play. That's why I don't play Crimson Armin. I don't play a lot of heroes because I'm not good at the game. Like, there's heroes that actually that are really good but require big brains to play. Like DJ Basar, Crimson Armin. A lot of the support heroes require big brains to play. A lot of big brains to play. I really hope it's not Emma Polides or more. I really hope it's not Belial either. I hope it's an actual like one that we've been waiting for. 'Cause, 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 No, I don't think it's a spoiler. Level 6 shrine. I don't think it's because we got Emo Ida and Ida. They're kind of the same thing. I don't think that's a spoiler. It's okay. There's no way I get Emo. Yeah, it's not terrible. Emo Charon, Emo Charles would be really good. Man, maybe today's top 5 was supposed to be today's top 5 was supposed to be, what was it? Top 5 duos, but maybe I'll do top 5 units I want to get an ML. Since we're getting a new ML really soon. So maybe that'll be today's ML5. Maybe I want today's ML5 too. I'll make that video instead, because y'all got me kind of hype about it. Maybe I'll do an ML5 stars that I want. Because I haven't done that one in a while. It's been a long time. And now that all units are up for grabs, because Smage just threw it out the window, the whole thing that, oh, we're going to do the old units first, they threw that out the window. So because they did that, there's a lot of other units I want getting an ML now. So we'll talk about it. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'll do that for today's top 5. I'll do that for today's top 5. Now you got me excited. Now I'm excited for that for top 5. Strassi would be cool as well. Emma Lilias would be really cool. Who I want the most is Emma Lilias or Emma Charles. I think right now, because so many people have been complaining about there not being enough husbandos, they really should release ML Charles. Like young ML Charles. I really hope it's that. I really hope it's ML Charles. They really should do ML Charles next. My thing is it should be ML Charles. Or Strasse. Or Emil. Or ML Ray. Yeah, ML Ray would be fine as well. Or ML Kron. Right? There's a lot of really cool male heroes. Because right now people are like kind of lashing back at Smage for not having a ML5. So I could see that. But the one that I really want is Emma Lilias. If it was Emma Lilias, oh man, I'm pulling out the wallet, bro. Holy. I'm pulling out that wallet so fast, bro. Ray would be really cool though. Concept-wise. Rich Hedgehog, you know who could Ray would be? Ray would kind of be like either like a shaman, or I could see him being like a dark shaman, or like a plague doctor. Can you imagine Plague Doctor Ray? That would look really cool, right? Like Plague Doctor Ray would actually look pretty good. You have to admit that. Imagine a Plague Doctor Ray with like the mask, like with the burn mask, like so you don't get close to people when you're deceased, and like instead of like cleansing, he like dispels and applies debuffs. I could see that. I could see that. You could see how ML Ray would be pretty cool. You could see how it would be pretty cool. But the one I really want is Emma Lilias, and that's MLK Run. That's it. That's it. Every other one would be really fun, but I don't think I like them as much as this other one. As long as they don't give me Emma Moore this early. It's way too early for Emma Moore. Let me see that. I'm going to save my thoughts for the top 5, but let's actually see some of the heroes that don't have MLs yet. I wish I could just do the elementals, but I guess it's like this. Keys has an ML, she has an ML, she has an ML, ML. There's no ML Eufine, but there is Holiday Eufine, so I don't think they'll... I can't say that. Never mind. I can't say just because he has a Holiday Eufine, we can't get an ML Eufine. We could actually get an ML Eufine. Think about it. Because we just had a lot of stuff with Eufine. Like that side story we got last week with Eufine. ML Eufine? We have Tenebria and Fairy Tail Tenebria, so there's no reason you can't get Stennet. Right? That whole concept's gone. Man, dude, it's not gonna really open the door for like ML 5 stars to just be whatever. But I think ML Eufine would be really interesting. She has an ML. She's the ML. He does not have an ML. ML Carol would be really cool. She has an ML. ML Charles does not have an ML. He's one of the only like ones that if it's not young Charles, I don't know what they would do. I guess like Commander Charles or King Charles would be one that they would do. Like Imperial Charles. I could see that one actually. Imperial Charles. Like, and he would just be like a military person, like without Aether. How he would be. That would be pretty crazy. But yes, Emma Bologna is possible now. Emma Bologna is possible now because we do have Stene, F10, and Tene. Right? Emperor Charles would be really cool. That would look really cool. Or Young Charles. One of the two would look really cool. Yuna doesn't have an ML. Dark Yuna sounds weird though. Dark Yuna sounds weird. I don't know about Yuna. Says has an ML. He has an ML. He has an ML. Mui doesn't have an ML. Bro, if it's Mui. Bro, imagine if it's Mui. Emma Mui. Oh my goodness. It better not be ML Mui. I'm sorry, Mui. You're cool and all, but I do not want an ML of you yet. That would suck, dude. Oh yeah, we need all the tennis, dude. Oh my goodness. Please no ML Mui. I really hope they do ML Mui. ML Tama could actually be a thing as well. Alright, my thing, I don't think they'll do ML Luna. I do not think they will do ML Luna. Why? It would be very unprecedented if they did an ML 5-star hero that was limited. We have not had any limited unit have an ML counterpart. Like, there's no ML Landy. There's no ML Deanne. There's not a lot of limited heroes that have MLs, which is the same reason I don't think Yuna will get an ML anytime soon. Because we don't have a limited unit that has an ML counterpart because of the imprint issue, right? That's the big issue with ML imprints. I remember when we were supposed to get an Angelica unit, so I don't think they'll do that. Tamarine, I could see, but I don't know how they could make her. That'd be weird. How do you make an ML Tamarine? Because you have to give her 2 forms, right? Not giving Tamarine 2 forms in her ML form would just be like, what the heck? I think ML Tamarine has potential to be one of the cooler ones. I mean, you can get ML Bologna, just not ML Seaside. You see what I'm saying? No ML Lieutenant. Yeah, right. Would be so weird to put on ML all the time but not get their imprint? Yeah, it would be. Like with our team and Mercedes, they had to do the whole thing with getting the stuff. But I wonder how they're going to do Tama. Ludwig could be a really SML. Dude, can you imagine like old Ludwig? Like if Ludwig was grown up. You know how cool that would be? Like grown up Ludwig, dude. He already looks like a G. He already looks super great. His animation, his S2 animation is already pretty good. He would look so cool, like if it was a grown ML, like ML Ludwig that grown up. I think that could be really cool. That could be really cool as well. Bologna doesn't have an ML counterpart. Cowrick doesn't have an ML counterpart. Pavel doesn't. I think Pavel Lilias would be so good as ML counterparts. Deanne, we mentioned why she can't get an ML. Sermia would be a really cool ML as well. Sermia would be dark, and she would be Chaos Sermia or something like that. Because the whole spoiler alert, if you haven't read the storyline, there's a side story with Sermia where her and Chaos Sect kind of go together. And I could see an ML Sermia that would be like go with Chaos Sect, right? And be like Chaos Sermia, Dark Sermia with Chaos Sect. And she's kind of like a crazy lady, or she's like the leader. She can't go both ways, but I feel like they would definitely make her dark. For Pavel, I've said this before, and if they do this, I think it would be the only way to make sense, right? Alright, quick aside, story time. Story time. Ooh, I love my story. Y'all know how we got the Rylet story time, right? With Rylet and ML Lilias, right? In that same world, Pavel would exist, and we know that Lilias is kind of like a dictator, right? So if they do Pavel, I think the coolest thing would be if ML Lilias was like Emperor Lilias or whatever, and Pavel was like Resistance Pavel, where Pavel was like leading the Resistance against Lilias, and he was like part of the Resistance with like Furious, and he would be like this super cool dude with like all decked out like light armor, like a really cool light ranger. I think that'd be really cool, like Resistance Pavel, right? I think that'd be really cool if they did that for Pavel, and then you get the full circle of the storyline with like Rylet versus Resistance Pavel, and like Furious would probably be with him. That'd be really cool. Because he already looks depressed. I feel like most depressed characters get a light variant. Usually. Unless they get more depressed. But yeah, I agree, we need more ML stories. We need more ML stories. But that would be really cool. ML Vivian would... I don't know, I would not like her. So I wouldn't even include her. I don't want ML Vivian. I'm a Ramsdale, I don't want ML Vivian. I don't think she fits in. How does she fit in? How does her and Cowrick fit into this whole messed up world where Kawana is the leader? What the hell is Vivian doing at this point? Is she still leader? Is she a summoner? Like, does she summon other creatures or something? I don't know, man. Or Cowrick too. I wonder how that would be. ML Melissa would be weird. She'd just be a vampire, like, lord. That one is easy. That one's like a give it. It'd be a vampire lord. She's doing nothing on her city? Yeah, I don't know, man. Vivian's kind of slacking. Bro, can you imagine if they gave us ML Chu? How mad would y'all be if you guys got ML2? That's our next ML is ML2. And she looks like ML Leo. Oh man, there's some really cool designs like antithesis. But if it's ML2, oh my god, dude! I think I would take a break from Epic 7. I just posted in the YouTube community post. I'll be like, hey y'all, not gonna be playing Epic 7 for a month. Let's play other games for this month. I'm kidding, by the way. I wouldn't quit Epic 7, but that'd be pretty funny if they made ML2. Oh man, Alencia is a possibility as well. We've been getting a lot of Alencia recently, and you got, again, at this point, if you have not read the story, I'm gonna be saying a lot of spoilers, so I hope y'all read the story. But for Alencia, y'all know how Mort wanted to corrupt her in the past. It'd be pretty obvious that she'd be like corrupted, right? If she was ML version, and they have said that they actually changed their forms, right? So she could be a really cool dark unit as well. Like a really cool dark dragon type. Like the corrupted dragon. So that would be pretty cool. Mort would be like, I mean, how do you make this guy ML? He's already ML unit in the story. He's already broken in the story. I cannot imagine a world where ML Mort exists. I don't think they'll put him there. I can't imagine a world where he actually exists. I don't get it. And we got Ida. Why did we get Ida? That makes no sense to me. No one was like, oh, yes, I want Emma Lilia. I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't. I really hope they go with a Season 1 hero for this next ML. I really hope they do. I'll be very disappointed if they don't. Let's just put it that way. And then we got all the ML heroes. ML Polides... Isn't ML Polides basically just that one bot thing in the storyline, Belial? That would just be it, right? More Dragon Emperor could make sense. That's true. Belian, yeah, I'm pretty sure Polides will be Belian. If that comes out, I think Belian makes a lot of sense to be ML Polides. Yeah, Belian. Yeah, that could be ML Polides. I need to read the story. Don't spoil it yet because I haven't read it for the newest one, for the newest chapter. I haven't caught up with it. I haven't had a chance. But I don't know. ML Sino would be cool. So there's some cool ones. There's still some really cool ones. There's still some really, really cool ones. Have y'all realized that Ruel is one of the only MLs that's here? I thought... And Destina's here. Did y'all realize that? Have y'all realized that in the ordering, Destina is with all the MLs, but Ruel is with all the RGBs. Y'all know why that is, right? Y'all know why that is, right? It's a little bit of like lore, but also I think like some people were hypothesizing that it was before the game came out. Yeah. Y'all didn't know that? And no, Bloodline, there should not be a stream preview tomorrow. Tomorrow is a chill patch. Yeah. Destina, people were saying, was originally meant to be ML. Because when you think storyline-wise, Ruel was the person. Destina is like the goddess. Right? It's supposed to be Ruel is the RGB and Destina is the ML. But I'm sure because of the way they looked, they ended up changing it. Yeah, and Ruel is the original one. So it's a little bit of both. I'm pretty sure they did it just because, oh, she's the original and Destina's not. But I think it's also like last minute decision. They decided to make Ruel light. A light unit just because it fits better for her design. And then they decided to make Destina, who's the light god, like the light spirit lord. Destina has nothing to do with Earth. That's what makes Destina really odd to me. Because Destina has nothing to do with Earth. Because Destina is actually the spirit of like light energy, right? That's what's Ruel of light. She gets her powers she got her from Destina. So it's weird that Destina's an Earth unit. Like canonically, she should have been a light unit. But that was before they knew what they were doing. I mean, Smagan still doesn't really know what they're doing. So it's yeah. I hate this outfit on her as well, but it's because she was trying to copy Ruel. But yeah, fun little lore for you guys. Fun little lore out there for you guys that didn't know Ruel Light is the original. They actually originally people thought that Ruel was actually the Earth hero or the Fire hero or whatever, and that Destina was supposed to be the MO. So fun little tidbit of information for you guys. Do I think that will buff rework Dark Corvus? No, there's no reason for Dark Corvus. Dark Corvus has his role. Dark Corvus is a king in Guild Wars and good into Arena when you want to spend 2 hours of your life. Inferno, I have not seen the issues with marketing yet. I haven't seen that one. But yeah, Destina of Light. Yeah, I know, right? Destina of Light and she's grass. That irks me, dude. Now that I saw that, this actually just bothers me. Because she's Destina of Light. The beast of the Western Light. The master of light and metal. But yet she's an Earth Soul Weaver. Oh my god, dude. That irks me so much. Will they buff a rework? I think Judge Kisa does need a buff. Alright, a buff? Alright. So as far as who do I see getting a buff in the future? But Inferno, I did not see that post. But as far as units that I see in the future getting buffed, I think now there's only one unit that really needs a buff. That is honestly right now is almost unusable. There's only one ML that fits that category. All MLs now are on a really good scale, right? The only ML right now that needs a buff is Judge Kisif. That's right. I didn't say Emoken, but I'm sure they'll buff Emoken. I think this is the one that needs it the most. It's Judge Kisif. She just doesn't really have a role. Like, where do you bring her? Politis is everywhere in Arena. Politis is everywhere in RTA. Where do you bring her? Like, she doesn't really have a role anymore. You don't want her for cleave because there's other cleavers you want. You want Tamara Luluka. Or you want, like, Stane. Or, like, every other, like, cleaver besides just Kise. I don't know. I don't know how you change her. I don't know how you change Judge Kise to make her better. Because she inherently, like, they either have to commit to the cleave and just give her insane damage, or they have to commit to the speed aspect of her and make this skill already grant her an extra turn without having to soul burn. But yeah, she can still be used for Guild Wars. I will agree, Sidewinder, she's pretty good for Guild Wars. But as far as other one, I actually think, alright, even more than Emoken, I think Apocalypse Ravi needs a buff. And I know, before you get your pitchforks out, before you get it out, I am aware that in Asia, A. Ravi is insane. I don't think she's useless. Like, Judge Kisa is useless. But I think she does need a tweak. I think she needs something. Why? She's really hard to use right now, and it's really hard to justify bringing her over other bruisers. Think about it this way. With Axe God buff, right? Why would you bring A. Ravi into Golden Boys when you can bring her, you can just bring Axe God, who's a 3-star? Think about it that way. Just let that sink in. Why bring A. Ravi into Golden Boys to counter Golden units when you now have Axe God? Why would you bring her? Doesn't make sense, right? Raze 2012, Asia really likes A. Ravi. So they have found ways to just give her the godliest gear in the planet. And with Ross and with that super godly gear, she's really good against booster teams. So just know that. But like literally, she lost her role. She used to be the counter to light hero, counter to light bruiser, but now she doesn't even have that role anymore because it just picked Axe God. Why pick A. Ravi? There's no situation now where you want to pick A. Ravi over Axe God, which sucks, right? I thought they were going to do the penetrate defense for light units on A. Ravi. I think like the changes they made to Axe God, if they gave one of those to A. Ravi, I think that's all she needed as well. It's kind of ironic that now she's competing against Axe God for like similar role. So she couldn't stop Golden Boys, but Axe God will probably do a lot better than her. So unless they gave her something to really punish light units, which is what I always felt she should be. She always felt like she was missing an identity, right? So I think they should make her similar to Emo Charlotte, where she gets penetration on this S3, That'd be really cool. If this has 3 penetrated defense on light, oh my gosh, she'd be insane. That's all she needs. If this skill got a penetrate defense if light, oh, Arabi would be nuts. That's all she really needs, honestly. That's all she really needs to be good again. And don't get me wrong, am I biased because I own an Arabi? Yeah, I'm a little bit biased. She used to be amazing, but she's fallen off a lot. And then last but not least, of course, Ken. Does he have uses? Yes. Does he have many uses? Not really. I mean, you see him a lot in arena offense for lower brackets. He's still really good in Guild Wars. And he still has some cases where he can be used in RTA. So, Ken, probably, honestly, about the same level as Arabi at this point. Where you see them every once in a while, but they're probably his better units. Ken, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is all Ken needs. You want to hear what Ken needs? Built-in sustain. That's all he needs. If Ken gets anything that gives him built-in sustain, he's already fine. If he loses his reliance on Sigurd's Scythe, he's already fine. That's the only problem Ken right now has, is he's very reliant on Sigurd's Scythe. If he gets innate lifesteal, I really do think Ken is already a perfect unit. Like, you can't change a lot unless you build a lot more. Because if he has innate lifesteal, you can actually build him full FRES, right? So that's all he really needs, because then you can build him high FRES and he does his job perfectly, right? So if he has built-in sustain, you can give him Gauntlet and he's done. He's good. He's a good unit. He's perfect. He has counters, which is a healthy unit has counters in the meta. All these people want their units to be broken. No, all units need to have a counter inherently, right? May Chloe still has a counter, right? She still loses to strippers, right? She still loses to extinction. All good units should have counters. A balanced hero needs to have clear counters. So Ken getting built-in sustain and losing to things like Senya and Landy is fine, right? The thing with Athletica I don't think needs a buff quite yet, but she probably, if they keep releasing units like they are, she will need a buff in the future. Like Faithless Litica will need something like I don't know, because it's just General Purgus. I mean, she's already so strong. She's still good. It's just General Purgus really punishes her. So does Polides. She still functions, right? I know people that still use her, but she's not nearly as strong as she used to be. She's still fine. She's still fine, but she's not the monster she used to be. The only thing is you can't buff her. Why can't you buff Athletica? Why? It's because if you buff her, Challenger, Champion, and lower in RTA, and Challenger will just get, like, deleted. Because you have to remember, we're talking as Champion players. But Athletica still destroys low tiers. Cleave is still busted in low tiers. Think about that. People down in lower tiers still hate Cleave. If I was to make a poll tomorrow, Cleave would still probably be the most hated playstyle. Even though they're not even that good anymore. So, I don't think she needs a buff just because she's so prevalent in lower brackets. And you have to consider, not everything is about late game, right? You have to consider that scaling up, right? And if Athletica gets a buff, early game players would be like, you would never hear early game players stop complaining about Cleave. They would say Cleave is the most oppressive thing in the world and the planet, and they're never gonna want to do it. So, yes, just a weeb. Maybe for, like, depends on when you landed, right? But I don't see her being buffed just because a lot of early game players would complain. The higher up, yeah, I mean, Cleave is trash right now. Cleave right now is like, if I have to tell you guys, for like playstyles, right now, the best playstyle is Bruiser. Second best playstyle is Tank. Third best playstyle doesn't exist because all of it is just inferior. At that point, like, it's literally like, I would say like Bruiser and Tank are the most popular playstyles. Control is dead. Like, absolutely dead. Control doesn't function. Control doesn't function. Actually. So, right now, Control doesn't actually function. Right? Control players are in shambles right now, and we keep getting counters. They keep pushing us down, dude. I don't know why they keep pushing out Control players. I don't know what we did wrong. You know, I'm just a normal 8-talent abuser that can't even abuse his most broken unit. I can't even abuse the most broken control unit because there's so many good anti-control. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what we did wrong. I don't know what control players did wrong, man. But Smilegate hates us. So, I guess F10, we did get to enjoy 1 month of domination. And then we got pushed back down to where we belong. So, pretty sad. I've been starting to switch to a full Bruiser playstyle. But May Chloe is another control counter, if y'all are wondering why I keep saying that. She's a really good control counter. And then Cleave is, I would say Cleave is still better than control. Just because Cleave variants still can succeed. But you don't see a control main player anymore in high bracket. Controls are basically dead. It's a dead playstyle. Control is basically a dead playstyle at this point. Cleave still is able to function because Cerise, Operator Sigrid, Elfelt, they still get some support. They still have Bazaar, they still have Rose, they still have ways to cleave. Cleave is not dead. Cleave never dies, but it's definitely weakened right now. It's just right now, dude, like, what do you do against these two units? Like, what do you do against Fallen Cecilia, Troublemaker Crosse, Lashadder Crawl, and, like, G Purgus? What do you do against that, right? How do you cleave that? How do you cleave? Unless you have, like assuming equal gear, you can't cleave. Assuming equal gear, you can't cleave that. And yeah, MLR is still pretty good in Guild Wars. I still want an MLR for fun. I still want MLR for Arena. But I don't know, man. I don't know what control, like, I don't know what. Like, I will say my favorite meta to date was RTA Season 3 start. That was actually my favorite start. Like, my favorite meta was Season 3 RTA start of the meta. Because you had control, you had cleave, and you had Bruiser all balanced. And then it'll all get messed up when F10 came out. That's literally what ruined the meta, was F10, which I guess was control's fault. But that sucks, dude. That sucks. I don't know, man. I don't want to get into it because I'm supposed to be ending stream soon. But I'm starting to get really sad about RTA meta. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but besides the RGB challenge, I haven't been playing that much RTA on stream. Right? Or besides fighting you guys. If y'all are wondering why I haven't been playing RTA and why I've decayed, and I haven't been playing RTA, period. Right? Like, if I look at it like this, it's like, I decayed, right? I ended champion, I ended the RGB challenge, I got champion, and I haven't played since then. Right? Why? This meta is just really stale. And the RTA season is 3 months. There's zero reason for me to grind right now when I can just grind the last month. But RTA still has another 2 months. What's the point of climbing right now, right? There's no reason. There's no motivation. There's no point in me spending like an hour a day to maintain legend only to lose the last hour. What's the point? Right? What? I know I can get champion RTA. I know I can get very high in champion RTA, but what's the point? There's zero incentive. The meta's very stale right now. There's no motivation to play RTA right now. And we talked about this, but we still have to wait it out for at least 2 more months for the next RTA season because they decided not to do it this time. Right? So they really need an RTA shop. I think we're really close to getting to the point where, for all gacha games, when you have real-time arena, there's always a point where it comes where you don't have enough users to make it a sustainable game mode. And RTA is starting to get there. RTA is starting to get to the point where, like, you don't have enough players. Like, even on my climb to champion, I was fighting the same players over and over again, and I was in challenger. Right? We're getting close to a critical mass where, like, not enough players are playing RTA because there's no incentive. That newer players are having to play against people that are way stronger than them, which drives usage down. Which ultimately, what else is there to do in Epic 7 besides RTA, right? Endgame, right? PvE? I mean, I guess, you know, I'm still doing PvE. Build waifus, that's what I've been doing, right? I've been building funner units. I've been having more fun. With our RGB challenge, I had a lot of fun, right? There's still ways to have fun with Epic 7, but it's just, dude, it's just, there's zero reason to climb. And think about this. I'm someone that can stream RTA. I'm someone that has a Discord that is very active and very RTA heavy. I can play with friends. I can flex on friends. I can flex on Discord members. I can do streams with you guys. And even with all these motivations for me to do RTA, I still don't do it that often just because there's no rewards and there's nothing, right? So it just sucks. It just sucks. It really sucks. They really do need more ranks. They need something. And I keep saying it. And I'm going to keep saying it. But I told you guys at the start of last season, I don't see myself climbing as hard as I did last season if they don't change anything. And they didn't change anything. Right? I literally said it before they, like right at the end of the last season, I said if they don't make any changes, I don't see myself playing RTA more than I need to. Right? We did the RGB challenge. That was super fun. We made it to champion, and then I've just been decaying. Right? And I'll climb back up the last month, get champion, call it a day. Right? So, it sucks. It sucks. How do you fix it? There's so many ways. There's so many ways that we've talked about. And like in several videos, several streams, that I feel like my throat is going to fall out. Because I've been saying it over and over and over again, what RTA needs. What we need to have in RTA to make it more competitive. I made a whole like 25-minute video about it. So it's literally like, at this point, it's just up to Smoggy, right? And yes, we don't usually get changes to RTA. We got Frenzy change season 3, which is really fun. But, alright, that's the last thing I wanted to discuss. So thank you for bringing it up, Jay Sachs. So RTA, I don't want to get hung up on it because I know I'm going to be talking about it for like the next 2 years until it gets a change. They need to add another tier. I don't know what they're going to do or when they're going to do it. RTA is boring. It sucks. As someone that loves RTA, this season is probably the worst one. It is the stalest RTA season we've seen to date. It is the stalest RGB season. It's all General Perkins, bro. It's all T-Crosset. It's all Landy. It's all Stan and Fawn Cecilia. You see those same like 10 units every single freaking game, dude. I hate it, bro. I hate it. So that's why I haven't been RTA, because it's just still meta. I'm waiting for the collab at this point. Once the collab comes out, maybe it'll be something super spicy and I'll get really excited for RTA again. So it's just not ready yet. I'm sure that I think the next season is going to be the 2-man system. That's my guess. So I'm just waiting for the collab, and I'm waiting for next season. And if they don't do anything next season, we're going to see. But all right, let me pull this up because that's something I've actually been seeing, right? So let's talk about it. So I don't normally watch this YouTuber. What's the name of that YouTuber's name? Let's see if that can help me. I can't remember the name right now. Who is the YouTube person that like doesn't have hair? The Epic 7 YouTuber that doesn't have hair? What's his name? I can't look him up. I'm trying to think. But yeah, honestly, right now, most people are writing out for the collab. If this collab doesn't slap, I could see a lot of people dropping. Thank you for letting me know who it was. I could see a lot of people dropping the game. And I already see a lot of people dropping the game because, like, the thing about it, you have to remember, like, right now, like, with like, the situation worldwide where people weren't really playing that much, right? People weren't playing that much because... we're playing a lot because there's nothing else to do, right? I played so much Epic 7 because I was on lockdown. But now, it's like people are going back to life, right? It's getting a lot less people are being able to play. And that, along with having a bad RTA season and potentially a bad collab, it could make Epic 7 play rate go really far down. Which is really scary to think about and really saddening, but okay. So, enough darkness and gloom. Let's talk about a little bit more. Let's get about Mongo 7. And I want to talk about this, Ray. Right? You're right. He did mention a video from 8 months ago. Feel free to watch this video and read the other stuff. Let's talk about it. Right? So let's see it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this guy. If y'all don't know, he's a YouTuber. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he has good content. I don't really watch him. I think his voice is annoying. I know I'm roasting him, and I'm about to use first video, so I do have to give him credit where credit's due. He did make this video first, right? So he made this video first, and he talked about it. What he said is this stream happened 8 months ago, right? So just a couple jump. If you didn't copy, hey, I appreciate it, Rimpai. I will definitely be using that tomorrow while I write my final report for the semester. So I really do appreciate that. I will be buying a nice Starbucks in your name, bro, homie. I'll post it in the Discord so you can see what I got with it. But alright, I don't want to roast him because I don't like his voice, and he's been around forever, right? And he always gets invited, and I always think I'm not getting into it. I don't want to get destroyed because I know he has a lot of fanboys. But credit where credit is due. He's a really cool guy. He's been around in the community for a long time, so credit where credit is due. He has been around the community a long time. He has done a lot for the community, and he's still loyal to Epic 7, even though he's been around for a very, very long time. So I'll give it to him, even though I personally don't like him. That does not mean that I think he's a bad content creator. I just don't like him. I don't like, personally, his content, but I think he is worth the watch. I don't know, man. You guys get what I'm saying. But let's just talk about it. So in this video, he talks about the stream, right? There's a leak that they had a... in the background, they had these two things, and they had a shelf of nothing. These were from the... What was the name of it? It was like Magic or something? It's from this is 8 minutes ago. So the collab has been planned for a long time. And the thing that is there, it's really weird for a company to have the Luna figurine and then 2 random figurines, right? So that's kind of weird, right? So what it's from, the figurines, are apparently from this anime called Madoka, which is a bunch of little girl anime waifu. Madoka Magica, right? So people are saying, and Smagen has said that they have teased who the next collab is, right? So that they have said in the, I forgot when they said it, but they said that they have teased it in the past, right? So because they had this, it was 8 months ago, right? This leak was 8 months ago where they saw this in the background, which is really weird, right? This is really weird, right? That they had these two. And I agree that is really weird. For a company to have figurines of another IP, it is very strange. It's from this anime, which is... I have not watched it. I cannot speak for this anime. That, I mean, it is a new IP. But, I don't know, man. Hey, I appreciate it, Kenny, too. A good semester to you, too, homie. Right at the end of the semester, too. But I don't know. So here are my reasons. I'm going to tell you guys the why I think it's not, but why it could be. Why I think it's not. So this one is going to be why I think it's not. Is because I really don't think the art style fits into Epic 7. Right? Now, I really don't think this art style really fits into Epic 7. I don't think they would have hyped up the game that much. And I think it's an older anime, right? I don't think this is going to be it. I don't think Smage would fumble the ball that hard when they know they could get so much, like, hate on it. People have said that the movie is also incoming. I don't think it would be this game because I think they would get a lot of backlash. Right? And it's an old anime, right? Even though there is a movie coming out soon. The other reason why people say it might be this, again, is because why would a company on an official stream put, like, look at all these empty slots, right? Why put those two here with Epic 7 stuff, right? That part is weird, right? That is weird. That's why like it has some validity to it, because usually like these type of things, that's not a careless error. It's not like this dude just forgot to take out his favorite magazines, right? So it's kind of one of those things that's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to be negative, but I really do think it has a good chance to be this. It could be to mislead, right? But it's just like, it's too much of a coincidence. The other thing is that this stream was 8 months ago, but they have been talking about the collab for like 8 months, right? It has been a really, really long time, right? Search soon for Fate. The reason why there's still some hope, Fate does do collabs. I have played other gacha games that do collabs with Fate. You have to remember the Fate franchise and Fate Grand Order are two different entities. Right? I don't know if they're owned by different companies, but they're kind of different. So there's still hope, although it's very unlikely. So that's what I'm saying. Why would they mislead, right? That's why it's like, I'm really hoping that I'm really hoping that, yo. I'm really hoping they don't. But there's a really good chance. So I just want to give that out there to you guys. I don't want you guys to take this as the truth. Also, make sure to watch the video from Mango 7. I mean, again, credit where credit is due. This dude's been doing YouTube for Epic 7 way before I did. And I know he has guides that are better than mine in certain situations because I'm not a PvE player. I'm not going to tell you guys I'm a PvE player. I make PvE guides when I'm comfortable with. The reason I didn't make a Dark Expedition PvE guide and I'm not going to make a Water one until way later is because I'm not comfortable with that to tell you guys that information. I'm not a PvE player. That's just facts, right? That's why my guides are usually more on like progression and like arena focus rather than than PvE focus. But that's credit where credit is due. Mango 7. He caught this. I don't know if he was the one that made the theory or if it was someone from his Discord to let him know. But just know that it's a possibility. I mean, if it's Madoka, I'll have to watch the anime so I can try to be hyped for it. Maybe that's all we need to do is just watch. We all watch the anime and we can talk about it and we can be hyped if we all watch it together. If it really is this, so oh man. So, HoloLive collab, I think it makes sense for Japan, but I think I like more like what they did with Kisuna Ai. So with Kisuna Ai, I think that was the best way to do HoloLive. It's like with Kisuna Ai, they did a lot of they did it as an out, like just a random one. I think they should do something like that again with HoloLive, but not a full-on collab with them. I don't think that'd be great. And it's a new IP, and HoloLive is not an IP, right? When you call it intellectual property, you don't usually associate HoloLive with an IP. So there's almost no way it's a HoloLive one unless you're going to do a random off. Right? The other thing, here's the other thing. Alright? So my other thing, why I don't think it's Madoka, right? So something else to kind of try to ease you a little bit of the potential thing that's coming. Why I don't think it's going to be Madoka is because Smilegate is not a company that likes to take big risks. They haven't done anything that's like new per se, right? Like they haven't really revolutionized anything. I don't think they will do a collab with a company that has never done a collab before. If y'all get what I'm saying, right? That doesn't make sense. I don't think they would be pioneers in making collabs, right? Because if I look at Madoka Gacha collab, like it's all these small-time games. Battle Cats did it. I don't know what the heck this is. So they have done it, but it's been like one, right? And it's like for Battle Cats. Versus we look at something like Guilty Gear, right? This has way more games that the Guilty Gear, right? You can see that Guilty Gear had a lot more collabs. So I don't think they're really pioneers from this. And a later unknown character. But yeah, GG has done a lot of collabs with other big ones. So Madoka has done collabs, really? I mean, we just saw it. Maybe it is Madoka. Shoot. Wait, that's bad. Oh, shoot, they actually did. Wait. Psych. Wait, y'all, I think it actually might be this. Those are pretty big names. Like, Valkyrie Connect is decently big. Battle Cats is really big in the casual scene. This one's also a gacha style. Never mind. Well, that's disproven. Oh man. Alright. Maybe it is Madoka. Maybe it is Madoka. Oh, not like this. Alright, we're ending the stream there. I'm starting to get depressed. I don't want to talk about collabs. I'm starting to get really sad. Because I feel like it's going to be a flop. So, with that, thank you all so much for coming to the stream and the update talk. Hopefully it's a little bit more hype for the collab. But if it's Madoka, I will watch the anime and we can talk about it in the Discord. I will open a Madoka exclusive channel on the Discord if it is Madoka, and we'll talk about the anime, and I'll force myself to be hyped for it because I think it's fun when you do a collab with something you know. And if it's Madoka, I'll watch it, and we'll have to see it, you know? So I'll watch it if it actually is, and we'll see from there, right? Maybe I'll get hyped, I'll watch it, and then I'll be hyped. So, alright, that will be it. So hopefully it gets a little bit hyper, but you know, can't complain. So yeah, that is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this update stream. I will go blind watching the anime, Alex, for sure. I'll watch the anime blind. Maybe I'll do that this week because my last day of classes is tomorrow. So I guess this is part of updates, channel updates. I was very MIA last week. This week I'll probably be a little bit more MIA as well. I didn't post a video yesterday because my last day is actually tomorrow, and I have a pretty big paper due as well as a lot of other work I need to do this week. So there's probably not gonna be a stream this Thursday because I'm gonna be taking a mental break. But then I should be back the next week, and we'll be able to do more content and more spicy content. So I should be able to get a little bit more. I'm also going to be trying Twitch streaming this summer. Since I'll be off for the summer, I'm going to try Twitch streaming other games, not Epic 7 exclusively. I still stream Epic 7 in YouTube, but I think I'm going to try Twitch for other games, because if you guys didn't know, I love playing other games like Smash. I've been really getting into Legends of Runeterra recently, the card game, and they are coming out with an expansion pack, which is really cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff I want to do with you guys. I want to play Smash against you guys, League, all this good stuff. So I do want to try to get into Twitch because YouTube will not let me do that. But I will still be doing Epic 7 here on YouTube. So with that, that's it as far as life updates. Thank you. Tomorrow, hopefully everything goes easy with the paper. And yeah, that is all I got for you guys today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed and to stay updated with more content. But that's all I got for you guys today, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.